Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Baryon mode Naruto X Justice League Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. If Konoha had a weather app, it would have read something like this. Current conditions, 95% rubble, 60% chance of emotional trauma, and a 100% chance of backstabbing politics. Pain's attack had turned the once bustling ninja village into something that looked like a mashed-up Lego set stepped on by a kaiju. Buildings? Gone. Trees? Toast. Peace? Ha. Good one. The night was bitterly cold, the kind of cold that made you want to punch something just to feel alive, which, ironically, was the exact opposite of what had just happened to Naruto Uzumaki. In a modest, half-burned room that smelled like ashes and betrayal, moonlight dripped through a shattered window, pooling on the still form of a blonde-haired teen lying face-up on a futon. His signature orange jacket, now torn and bloodied, was stained the kind of red you only see in horror movies or after a poorly thought-out prank involving ketchup and shadow clones. A kunai, still humming faintly with wind chakra, lay discarded on the floor like a forgotten party favor. The party? A very exclusive one-person murder party. And the guest of dishonor? Naruto freaking Uzumaki. Savior of the village. Ramen connoisseur. Occasional menace. Dead. Standing over him like the world's worst bedtime storyteller was Danzo Shimura, the human embodiment of a suspicious cough. Wrapped in more bandages than a hospital gift shop, Danzo stared at the boy with all the emotional depth of a soggy rice cracker. Blame Sara for this, Naruto, he said flatly, because of course he dumped this on a dead guy and a retired Hokage. He let the kunai fall from his fingers, like he was discarding a used tissue instead of the murder weapon of Konoha's most promising hero. Blood soaked into the futon, whispering secrets of regret and ruined dreams, but Danzo wasn't listening. He was too busy mentally rearranging the political chessboard. With this, the threat has been silenced, he muttered, already turning on his heel like a discount Bond villain. Now to use the Hyuga clan. Because nothing screams good leadership like emotional blackmail and clan manipulation. So, picture this. You're dead. Or at least you were dead. That's a pretty important detail. Because the last thing Naruto Uzumaki remembered was falling asleep in his bed back in Konoha. Tired, sore, but victorious. The kind of tired where your whole body feels like cooked ramen noodles. He'd saved the village. People cheered. Sakura didn't punch him for once. Everything was going great. And now? Now he was lying in the center of a smoking crater like someone had tried to microwave the floor and accidentally summoned him instead. Wake up. The voice jabbed into his mind like a lecture from Tsunade, or worse, Irika's disappointed tone. Which, in its own way, hurt more than getting punched through a building. Naruto groaned, blinking up at trees. That was his first real clue that something was seriously off. Konoha wasn't exactly famous for its forest smack dab in the middle of downtown. His body felt floaty. Not chakra floaty, more like, I had 3 bowls of ramen and forgot to sleep floaty. He pushed himself upright and realized he was surrounded by wreckage, like the world had rage quit and tried to erase him from existence. Earth cracked around him. His clothes were dusty, his limbs shaky, but he was fine. Cue the internal screaming. Kyubi, he thought, reaching inward like he always did when life started getting too weird. A rumble echoed through his thoughts, deep and grumpy. Boy. We died. Naruto stopped breathing. No, seriously. For a full 5 seconds, he just forgot how to breathe. His brain tried to reboot like an old computer. You what? Dead. Slain. Snuffed. You were murdered in your sleep. Danzo's doing. Real dramatic. Classic betrayal. Asterisk asterisk Kurama's voice was all sarcasm and fire, like he'd had way too much coffee. No way. I would have remembered that. You don't usually remember getting stabbed in the heart. Naruto let out a shaky breath and stumbled to his feet, trying to pretend he hadn't just been given the worst morning update of all time. Dusting himself off, he noticed something even weirder. People. Lots of people. Standing at the edge of the crater like they just found a baby dragon at the bottom of a cereal box. Holding tiny black devices that blinked and clicked. Some looked terrified. Others just confused. One guy was filming vertically. The horror. Cameras? Are they recording me? Naruto straightened up awkwardly. Hey, anyone know what's going on here? No answer. Just more blinking, flashing lights, and one lady visibly mouthing, "Is this a cosplay thing?" And then Kurama, bless his snarky soul, said the words that really made Naruto's stomach do somersaults. Look up. Naruto did. Skyscrapers. Neon signs. Giant digital billboards with a grinning man selling something called Cola Zero Energy Blast. The air buzzed with life, machines, and a level of confusion only rivaled by being trapped in a genjutsu designed by a caffeinated Kakashi. This wasn't Konoha. This wasn't even Naruto's world. Back inside his mind, Kurama dropped the final bomb like a fox-shaped mic. Danzo killed you. You're serious? He wanted control. You were the biggest threat. No guards. No warning. Just slice, stab, dead. That Cyclops mummy. Naruto's fists clenched. Anger rose like a storm, thick and wild, but he forced it back down. This wasn't the time. No, the time was now. Apparently try not to get arrested or dissected for being a weird guy in a crater. He turned to the crowd, forcing a grin so awkward it could have cracked a mirror. Hi. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Where exactly am I? More silence. Then chaos. A man screamed, a kid dropped his ice cream, and the crowd scattered like he just declared himself a radioactive llama. Apparently, giant chakra craters were frowned upon in this neighborhood. Just great. Then, like a scene from a movie, or, okay, a really expensive comic book, she appeared. A blur of blue and red shot through the air, hair like spun gold trailing behind her. She hovered above the crater, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the boy below like a teacher grading homework. Naruto stared. She's flying, he muttered, brain struggling to catch up. Like pain. Except, not evil. Her blue suit shimmered with power. The red cape flapped dramatically behind her, like it had a personal wind generator. There was a symbol on her chest, a yellow one, kind of like an S wearing a seatbelt. Naruto gulped. Okay. Not an illusion. He raised a hand and smiled. Hello? To his complete shock, she smiled back. Hello, she said in fluent, unaccented Japanese, or whatever the heck he was speaking now. Naruto blinked. Wait, you can understand me? Either she had a translation jutsu built into her earrings, or something way bigger was happening. He filed that under questions for later right next to did I actually die? And what even is Cola Zero Energy Blast? The crater wasn't even 10 minutes old, and it was already trending. If there were ninja reporters in this world, Naruto was certain they'd be lurking in bushes and launching smoke bombs for dramatic lighting. But instead, he was surrounded by flashing lights, phones, and whispers that felt more like static than conversation. And at the center of it all? A blonde girl floating above him like some sort of goddess who accidentally missed her thundercloud appointment and landed at a cosplay convention instead. Her hair danced with the wind like it was being directed by a high-budget film crew. Her red cape swirled dramatically, catching the sunlight in a way that should have been illegal. Naruto almost wanted to bow, but that felt way too formal for a guy wearing dusty sandals and ramen stains. She wasn't just impressive, she was impossible. But Naruto had seen impossible before. He'd fought pain incarnate, outrun death, and negotiated with a homicidal fox that lived in his belly. He could handle this. Probably. Thank God, he said, grinning in relief like someone who'd just spotted a familiar bowl of miso in a desert. My name is Naruto, and I'm from the land of fire. Could you please guide me home? It was a simple request, spoken with hope and the polite urgency of someone trying very hard not to panic. But Kara's face twisted slightly, the way someone looks when they're about to explain to a child that Santa skipped their house this year. There is no land of fire on Earth, she said gently. Are you human? Naruto blinked. Do I look like a talking raccoon? He checked his hands. 2 arms, 2 legs, 0 tails. No fur. No alien antennae. Still blonde. Kara chuckled, just a small one, but it eased the tightness in Naruto's chest. She was kind, he could tell. Maybe a bit wary, but not hostile. I don't know, she said. You're not exactly normal. Naruto gave her a cheeky grin. No one's ever accused me of being normal. I take that as a compliment. What she didn't know, of course, was that inside his mind, a 1,000-pound fox demon was pacing and growling like someone had insulted his fur conditioner. It's another world, boy. Kurama's voice echoed, grumpy and distinctly not thrilled. Our souls and bodies have somehow awakened here without our permission. Naruto didn't answer right away. His gaze stayed locked on Kara's, curious, worried, grounded. Something about her reminded him of his old sensei. Or maybe Hinata. That strength wrapped in gentleness. Do you know how we got here? No. And I hate that. I don't like being dragged around like some summoned beast without even a summoning circle. So I really did die, Naruto thought, frowning slightly. Yes. You were betrayed. Stabbed. Bleeding. We both felt it. Danzo took everything from you, again. The weight of that truth sat heavy on Naruto's chest. But Kurama wasn't finished. Either find out why we're here or live like a monk. Just don't get us killed again. I refuse to die looking this stupid. Naruto smirked faintly. You're cranky when you're confused. And you're flippant when your life is in danger. We all have our coping strategies. Next time we talk, I expect better dialogue. Their mental bickering paused just in time for Kara to offer an unexpected lifeline. Let me check with my cousin, she said. He might know something. Naruto nodded. Great. Let's go where he is. Kara smiled, but shook her head. No need. He'll come to us. Naruto blinked and looked around again. The crowd had only grown. Some people looked scared. A few had already begun whispering the magic words he was growing to hate. Metahuman? Threat? Containment? Kara noticed it too. Her voice lowered, more serious now. Let's go somewhere quieter. She extended her hand. Naruto hesitated. It was the kind of moment that could go either way, friendly alliance or unexpected body toss into a power plant. Still, he reached out and gripped her hand. The ground vanished. For half a second, his gut forgot how physics worked. He was flying. Like actual flying. Not chakra jumps, not being hurled by a giant frog, but genuine superhero floaty time. It felt like someone had pressed pause on gravity. Whoa, Naruto muttered, eyes wide as the city unfolded beneath him like a steel and glass puzzle box. You really are strong. Kara smiled, holding him with ease. You're heavier than you look. I eat a lot, Naruto said proudly. Mostly ramen. The rooftop offered a moment of peace. Well, as much peace as you could get when you were standing beside a flying girl who could probably punch through mountains and had just yanked you into the sky like it was casual Tuesday. The city buzzed below them, distant and muffled, like the hum of cicadas back in Konoha. Except instead of cicadas, it was honking cars, LED billboards, and the occasional screaming cab driver. Honestly, Naruto wasn't sure which was worse. They landed with a soft thump, Kara's grip releasing as her boots met solid concrete. A breeze swept past them, ruffling their hair like an invisible hand trying to style it mid-conversation. Thanks for the help, Naruto trailed off, scratching his cheek and waiting for her to fill in the blank. Supergirl, she said with a small, casual smile. Naruto blinked. What? Supergirl, she repeated, a little slower, as if that clarified anything. Naruto squinted. I know you're a Supergirl, but what's your name? There was a beat of silence, and then Kara let out a laugh, clear and bright like wind chimes caught in summer air. That is my name. Well, my public one, at least. Naruto folded his arms across his chest, nodding sagely. Oh, I get it. You use an alias to protect your identity. Smart. Wouldn't want enemy ninjas launching surprise kunai at your apartment while you're brushing your teeth. Kara's eyes lit up in amusement. Exactly. Though in my case, it's more wouldn't want galactic warlords showing up during grocery shopping. Yikes. That's a whole other level of troublesome. He tilted his head. And you don't even have ramen here? Unfortunately, no. Naruto frowned like someone had just told him frogs were extinct. This place really is a wasteland. Kara laughed again. And you? What do I call you? Naruto straightened up proudly. I am a shinobi and a sage. A warrior of peace and protector of ramen bowls everywhere. She raised a perfectly skeptical eyebrow. You don't look like one. Naruto gasped, clutching his chest with the melodrama of someone who just discovered their favorite anime was cancelled. I take offense to that. I am a great ninja with many achievements. She said, arms crossing. Like? I defeated a giant snake, talked down a psycho with 6 piercings, survived a literal invasion, and much more. Wow. That escalated quickly. Naruto puffed up his chest, radiating pride. And I once tricked Kakashi-sensei into thinking I was studying when I was actually drawing a new jutsu on my pants. Kara tilted her head. That last one doesn't sound like an achievement. It is when your teacher has a ninja dog that can sniff out lies. Okay, that's fair. They both chuckled. The rooftop air felt lighter somehow, the tension from earlier slowly melting like ice under sunlight. For the first time since Naruto had clawed his way back into the world of the living, and possibly other living, he didn't feel completely out of place. There was still confusion. Questions. The weight of betrayal back home and the mystery of how he ended up in this neon jungle of weird names and flying people. But right now, he was talking. He was laughing. If Kara's entrance had been dramatic, the guy who landed next could only be described as cinematically over the top. With a gust of wind and the subtle whoosh of someone too cool for stairs, he appeared, floating down like a divine press conference. Broad-shouldered, square-jawed, and wearing a cape so regal it probably had its own mailing address, the man looked like he could lift mountains and lecture you about taxes at the same time. Naruto stared. Not at the glowing red and yellow S on his chest. Not even at the fact that he was clearly also defying gravity. Nope. It was the red underwear. Right there. Bold. On the outside. Like it paid rent. Naruto blinked twice. Then, in a tone of utter disbelief, he asked the only logical question. Why are you wearing your underwear on top? The rooftop fell so silent you could hear a pigeon rethink its life choices. Kara's eyes widened. For half a second, she looked torn between horror and delight. Then she lost it. Ha ha ha. She tried to muffle the sound with her hand, but her shoulders were shaking like a leaf in a thunderstorm. She was definitely laughing too hard for someone who fought Doomsday last month. Even Superman, yes, Superman, sighed. It was a dignified sigh, full of resignation and the eternal patience of someone who'd heard this question too many times at Justice League brunch. It's not underwear, Clark said, voice low and amused. It was inspired by professional wrestling uniforms. The look is symbolic. Naruto tilted his head. You do know there are other ways to stand out, right? Like face tattoos. Or walking around with a giant toad. Clark actually chuckled under his breath. Noted. Kara was still snickering behind him. All right, Clark said, regaining his composure. Let's talk. Do you know how you got here? Naruto's face turned serious. The grin slipped, replaced by the quiet intensity he wore during life-or-death missions. Arms crossed, eyes narrowed just slightly, he answered, No. I was asleep then suddenly, I woke up in the park. Clark nodded slowly. His gaze turned analytical, scanning Naruto with quiet precision. X-ray vision kicked in, and what he saw made his brow crease. The kid was human, yes. But his biology was different. His muscle density was far above normal, bordering on superhuman. Chakra? Maybe. But to Clark, it looked like compressed power, a hidden energy lying coiled beneath his skin like a sleeping dragon. Kryptonian levels of durability. Which made one thing clear, this boy, Naruto, wasn't just some lost traveler. He was dangerous. And powerful. But also hurting. You're in a different world, Clark said gently. A different dimension, to be exact. Naruto didn't flinch. Didn't even blink. Just nodded. Okay. Kara and Clark shared a brief glance. That was an oddly chill reaction. Most people freak out when we tell them that, Kara said softly. I've been through a lot, Naruto replied. Alternate dimension? Just another item for the checklist. He said it lightly, but there was a weight to his words. Kara, who had also lost her world once upon a time, heard the echo of grief hidden behind his casual tone. We don't have a way to send you back, Clark continued carefully, not wanting to add salt to a wound that hadn't even finished bleeding. Not directly. But we know someone who might be able to help. Naruto's response was immediate. Okay. Let's go. No hesitation. But the flicker in his eyes told a different story: grief, worry, maybe even guilt. He didn't let it show for long, but Kara saw it. Clark did too. They didn't say anything. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for someone is to not mention the tears they refuse to cry. Flying was supposed to be cool. And to be fair, it was. In the same way, getting punched in the face by a god was an interesting experience. The wind blasted past Naruto's ears. His legs dangled awkwardly, his jacket flapped like a flag in a hurricane, and his hair looked like it had just lost a fight with a weed whacker. In short, he did not look majestic. Beside him, Kara flew with the grace of a leaf on the wind. Clark, up ahead, sliced through the sky like he had a personal vendetta against air resistance. Naruto? He looked like a flying dumpling on an invisible stick. But it wasn't the flight that had him sweating. It was what the fox just told him. You will only find failure in this endeavor, boy. We are connected to this world now. Naruto blinked through the gusting wind, trying to steady his breathing. What do you mean, connected? The deep growl of Kurama echoed through his skull like an ancient thunderstorm. Our chakra, my essence, is synced to this world's energy flow now. It no longer resonates with the old one. Naruto's hands clenched unconsciously. He could almost feel the world around him pulling on his skin, like invisible threads were stitching him into this universe whether he liked it or not. You're saying we can't go home? I'm saying that someone very powerful severed our bond to that world. Kurama's tone was grim. Deliberately. Violently. They didn't just bring us here, they rewrote our link to existence. How the hell is that possible? By someone who doesn't follow your precious rules of nature. The fox snorted. It was no accident. You were summoned. Chosen. And they didn't do it for giggles and tea parties. The words struck harder than a raisin gun to the gut. Someone had ripped him away, from Konoha, from Kakashi, from Ichiraku's ramen, for crying out loud. And they'd done it like he was a pawn on a celestial game board. Naruto's jaw locked. So what do I do? You can dance to their tune or break their strings. And if I find them? Kurama's voice dropped low, almost reverent. Then pray your strength is enough. Because whoever did this, they're beyond us. For now. For a moment, Naruto said nothing. Then, slowly, he exhaled through his nose. The breath came out sharp, steady. His fingers loosened. His back straightened. The wind whipped harder, but his eyes were clearer. They brought me back to life. But they don't get to control what I do with it. Hey, Kara called over the wind, her voice warm and calm, like sunshine in stormy skies. You good? Naruto turned to her and offered a thumbs up that would have looked a lot cooler if his hair wasn't sticking up like a startled cactus. Peachy, he said. Clark slowed down, motioning toward a rooftop below. That's our stop. She's waiting. Las Vegas, Nevada? The place looked like someone had taken a festival, a disco ball, and a casino, tossed them into a blender, and then added fireworks for flavor. Neon lights danced on every surface, slot machines chirped like overeager birds, and giant posters of magicians, singers, and Elvis impersonators loomed over the city like deities of chaos. Naruto took one look and muttered, "This place makes the Chunin exams look tame." Kara chuckled. Welcome to Vegas. But Naruto didn't let the bright lights distract him for long. He wasn't here to gamble. He was here to find answers. The kind that didn't come from fortune cookies or sketchy palm readers. Their destination? The majestic Mirage Theater, home of glitz, illusions, and tonight, the one and only Zatanna Zatara. Backstage, the noise of the audience faded into velvet curtains and golden walls. Incense hung in the air like a whisper of mysticism, mingling with the faint scent of stage makeup and lavender perfume. Zatanna sat in front of a glowing mirror, her top hat resting on the vanity beside her. Her dark hair cascaded over her shoulders in lazy waves, and her smile was as mysterious as the secrets she kept in her gloves. Can I help you, Superman? She asked, turning her chair lazily like she'd been expecting them all along. Clark didn't bother with pleasantries. We need to know if he can go back. To his own world. Zatanna's gaze drifted to Naruto. Then it sharpened. It wasn't just a look, it was a magical MRI scan. Her eyes practically glowed as she examined him, seeing through the layers of chakra, scars, trauma, and probably way too much sodium from all the ramen. Her fingers twitched. Her breath hitched just slightly. "Oh my God," she murmured. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "That good looking, huh?" Kara rolled her eyes. Clark sighed. But Zatanna wasn't amused. She stood up slowly, smoothing out her gloves as her eyes never left Naruto's. "You've got chakra inside you," she said slowly. "But more than that. It's like the world's strongest lightning storm got shoved into a teenager." Naruto gave a modest shrug. "I've been through some stuff." Zatanna studied him like an ancient riddle. "Your energy doesn't belong here. That much is clear. But it's not alien either. It's resonating." Clark frowned. "Resonating?" Zatanna nodded, then lifted her hand and began weaving a spell. Her words slipped into the air like silk, ancient, beautiful, and backwards. Eminijiro fo tap 8 wands m. The lights flickered. The air shimmered like rippling water. And for a moment, the room was no longer just a room, it was a window across dimensions. Naruto stood still, eyes wide, heart pounding. He could feel it, his essence being traced. His spirit reaching across the veil of worlds. He saw flashes. Fire. Darkness. A vast void. Then light again. Then nothing. The spell faded. Zatanna lowered her hand, the magic dissipating like smoke in the wind. Her voice came out quieter now. More hesitant. "You're from here." Naruto blinked. "What?" Clark stepped forward. "What do you mean?" Zatanna's brows furrowed, her voice laced with confusion and something more unsettling, certainty. "There's no trail leading back to another world. No tether. No dimensional residue. Everything in his body, his soul, it all screams native." Naruto's mouth went dry. "That's not possible." "You didn't just get pulled into this world," Zatanna said softly. "You were rewritten into it. Down to the atomic level. You're not just here, you've always been here. As far as this universe is concerned. So, here's the thing about being told you can't go home. If you're a regular person, you might cry. If you're a Kryptonian, you might punch a moon. If you're Naruto Uzumaki, you don't accept it. At least, not quietly." Las Vegas was still glittering outside, still buzzing with life, neon lights dancing like nothing had happened. Inside the dressing room, everything had shattered. Naruto's stomach dropped like a trapdoor had opened beneath him. His face tightened, the color draining from his already pale skin. "That's not possible," he said again, but it came out thinner this time. Weaker. "I saw everything. Your cities. Your world. Your people. None of it exists where I come from. You don't exist in my world." Zatanna stood slowly, like she wasn't sure if she wanted to face him with this truth. "Someone made you part of this world, Naruto," she said, her voice gentle but unwavering. "They didn't just pull you through a portal. They rewrote the threads that tied you to your original dimension. Your soul is stitched into this place now. You are from here. As far as the universe is concerned." "No," Naruto said quietly, shaking his head. "I'm sorry," Zatanna continued, her expression heavy with regret. "This is beyond anything I've seen. Whoever did this, they're not just powerful. They're immortal. If they don't want you to leave, then you won't. And believe me, some doors are meant to stay closed." For a moment, Naruto stood perfectly still. Then it hit him. Not like a punch. More like a kunai made of grief stabbing him straight through the heart. He gasped. His legs gave out. And just like that, he fell. Kara flinched. Clark took a step forward, alarmed. "Naruto?" But he didn't answer. He was already on his knees, fists clenched so tight his nails dug into his palms. The floor creaked beneath him as his chakra began to churn, subtle at first, like a trembling volcano, quiet and seething. His breath came in ragged bursts. This wasn't about him. Sasuke was out there. Alone. The village, what was left of it, was probably still bleeding. And he was here. Stranded. Powerless. ripped away like some piece on a cosmic chessboard. His throat tightened. He tried to speak, but the words turned to ash. He whispered. I can't stay here. They. He trailed off. What was the point? They couldn't hear him. Not Kakashi. Not Sakura. Not anyone. Zatanna knelt beside him. Her voice was gentler now, the spellcaster mask replaced by the empathy of someone who understood. I know it hurts, she said softly. I've been trapped before too. In places I couldn't leave. But this doesn't mean it's over. Naruto didn't look at her. He couldn't. He just kept staring at the floor, as if he could punch a hole through it with his will alone. His fingers curled tighter. His chakra buzzed, no, hummed, like the faint spark of a storm trying to form beneath his skin. Clark exchanged a glance with Kara, both of them tensing. Because they felt it too. A pressure, like the air itself, was getting heavier. Kurama stirred inside him. Get up, boy. What's the point? Naruto replied mentally. They can't help me. You heard her. Yes. And I also heard you whining like a child. Naruto blinked. You want to go home? Then make it happen. You think sitting here sulking is going to fix anything? No one brought you this far so you could cry into a carpet. That did it. The pain didn't fade, but something inside him clicked. A spark. A silent roar. Naruto looked up, eyes burning, jaw tight. He wasn't going to wait for answers. For a guy who died, fallen into another universe, and been told he couldn't go home, Naruto really didn't think things could get worse. Then Kurama decided to drop this bombshell. They will survive with better chances now that you are dead and I am gone from that world. Naruto blinked. The words echoed in his head like a bad punchline that just wouldn't land. Come again? He wasn't sure what freaked him out more, the fact that Kurama had said that so calmly, or the fact that Naruto couldn't immediately tell if he was being sarcastic. Don't you remember what Nagato told you? Oh, great. Now they were digging into trauma flashbacks. Classic Kurama. Naruto's stomach dropped as the memory hit him like a kunai to the gut. Pain, Nagato, standing there, bony, broken, and still somehow righteous, telling him the truth. The whole let's revive the Jubi by consuming the tailed beasts plan. Naruto swallowed hard. You think it worked? That they actually pulled it off? They were close, Kurama said. Closer than you ever realized. I didn't think they could be stopped. But our death threw off the balance. The vessel's gone. The chain is broken. Kurama's voice wasn't cold this time. Not angry. Just resigned. So our death had one good result. I saw no hope in your people stopping the beast's revival. That hurt. Not because it wasn't true. But because it was. A cold weight settled in Naruto's chest. He'd always believed things would work out if he tried hard enough. But now he wasn't there to protect them. He wasn't there to stop the darkness. And maybe Kurama was right. Maybe they needed him to be gone. Why are you being nice suddenly? Naruto asked, trying not to sound too suspicious. But you know, it was the nine-tailed fox. A low rumble echoed in his mind. A chuckle. From Kurama. You're the only connection I have left to our world, he said, and Naruto felt the weight behind those words. And at the moment of death, I realized something. Naruto tensed. What? You are connected to my father. Naruto blinked. What now? The sage of six paths Hagoromo Atsutsuki. He created chakra. Divided the tailed beasts. He was our father, and by blood or spirit, yours as well. Naruto's brain screeched to a halt. So what, I'm a fox nephew now. Don't get excited, Kurama grumbled. It doesn't come with inheritance. Only responsibility. There it was. The familiar grumpy sass. Naruto almost missed it. Kurama continued, his tone quieter now, less fury, more history. We tailed beasts were made to guard the world, to maintain balance. But humans feared us, hunted us, used us. You were the first to treat me like I was more than a weapon. Naruto looked out over the neon-lit city from the rooftop, the glitz of Vegas now dulled by the truth unspooling in his mind. You sound like you don't hate them anymore. I don't forgive them, Kurama replied. But I see why they feared us. Naruto clenched his fists. Even now, Kurama's voice carried bitterness, but underneath it was something else. Something heavy and unfamiliar. Acceptance. Naruto swallowed the lump in his throat. Thanks, he muttered, for not abandoning me. For once, Kurama didn't have a snarky comeback. No insults. No huffs. Just silence. The kind of silence that felt like a pat on the shoulder from someone who didn't do hugs. And somehow, that said more than words ever could. Naruto didn't cry. Let's just get that out of the way. But if he had cried, which he absolutely didn't, it would have only been because the whole "you're stuck in this dimension forever" talk had come wrapped in glittering Vegas lights and delivered by a magician in fishnets. That kind of drama deserves some level of emotional leakage. Thankfully, he didn't have to spiral for long, because the universe tossed him a bone. Literally, in the form of Kara's hands shaking him by the shoulders like a maraca. Naruto, relax, she said with that all-too-cheerful cousin of Superman energy. I know it sounds bad, but we will find a way back. You just need to breathe. Naruto blinked at her. I am breathing. Through your rage teeth, she pointed out. Fair. Zatanna stepped forward, her magician's boots making barely a sound. She gave Naruto a warm smile, one of those smiles that made you feel like maybe your life wasn't about to spiral into a dimension-hopping dumpster fire. There's no need to lose hope, she said gently. But first, let's fix the language barrier. Please accept this gift of the tongue. Naruto instinctively flinched. Wait, gift of the wa. Boop. She tapped 2 fingers against his forehead. There was a soft glow. A faint hum. And then... wham! His brain felt like it had downloaded the entire Rosetta Stone collection in 2 seconds flat. Words flipped themselves, rearranged, and suddenly, everyone in the room stopped sounding like a group of ramen ingredients arguing with a blender. Naruto gasped. I can understand you guys now. Kara beamed. Cool, right? Naruto grinned. This is awesome. Can you do this for cooking instructions too? Zatanna chuckled, clearly amused. Only if you promise not to explode anything. I promise nothing. But the levity didn't last. Zatanna's smile faded as she brought them back to the serious part. Now, about getting you home, she hesitated, and that pause was louder than most speeches. We might be able to send you back. But we'll need time. And caution. Naruto nodded. Because of those immortals you mentioned? Zatanna's jaw tightened. Exactly. If the Olympians are involved, and it's starting to feel like they are, then we're dealing with ancient beings who collect mortals like trading cards. Kara groaned. Ugh, don't get me started. Zeus once tried to adopt me. Clark frowned. That wasn't adoption. That was kidnapping with extra thunderbolts. Naruto blinked. You people really live in chaos, huh? Welcome to Earth Prime, Kara deadpan. Zatanna continued. Still, it might be a natural rift. Dimensions shift sometimes, like tides. If so, we'll have a better chance of finding your way back. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a tiny glass vial that shimmered with mystic runes. I'll need a little bit of your blood and chakra. It'll help me trace your origin. Naruto hesitated. You're not gonna summon a toad with it or anything, right? I'm more into rabbits, actually. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Should I be worried? No more than usual. With a quick slice of a sterilized dagger that looked way too elegant for this sort of thing, Naruto gave her the sample. Zatanna capped the vial, already muttering to it like it was a particularly stubborn crystal ball. I owe you for this, Naruto said quietly. Zatanna glanced at him, her gaze softening. Don't worry about it. But since you're stuck here for now, you'll need a place to stay. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Yeah, about that. I don't exactly have a job, or money, or clothes that aren't bright orange. You could always work for me, Zatanna teased. I need a stage assistant. You're already used to getting stabbed. Naruto made a face. Okay, fair, he muttered. But seriously, I'm not gonna sit around and do nothing. If I'm here, I'm helping. Got any villains that need a Rasengan to the face? Zatanna didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached out and pinched his cheeks with gloved fingers. Ow! Hey! Naruto yelped, slapping her hand away. What was that for? You look too sad, she replied, shrugging with a smile. Had to fix that. But behind the teasing glint in her eyes, she had seen something. A soul marked with battle, burned by loss, and stitched back together with pure stubborn will. Clark stepped forward. I might have a better idea, he said. Naruto looked up, curious. There's a team of young heroes. They work under our supervision. You could stay with them, train, and get to know this world a bit better while we figure things out. Naruto blinked. You mean like roommates? Kara grinned. More like superpowered chaos gremlins in tights. You'll fit right in. Naruto crossed his arms. I can't just mooch off people. If I join, I fight. I help. I'm not some charity case. Clark's lips tugged into the faintest smile. Didn't think you were. There are conversations that make the air feel heavy, like when someone brings up taxes. Or asks, what's your body count? And doesn't mean romantically. Zatanna's voice had been sharp. Direct. The kind of voice you use when you want the truth, not a story. Naruto, have you ever killed anyone? The room froze harder than a popsicle in Mr. Freeze's freezer. Kara stopped smirking. Superman looked up with the kind of stoic dad energy that screamed serious time. And Naruto? Naruto didn't flinch. Not outwardly, anyway. Inside? His stomach twisted like a shadow clone hit with a bad bowl of instant ramen. But he stood firm, his fists clenched, jaw tight, blue eyes like twin blades locked on Zatanna's. I believe people should be given a chance to change, he began, his voice steady, too steady, like it had been rehearsed in the mirror at midnight. Killing only spreads more pain. That's why I don't kill unless there's no other choice. A pause. But I have killed. That landed like a kunai to the chest. Kara's smile faded. Clark's brow furrowed. Zatanna nodded slightly, like she'd expected as much but needed to hear it anyway. And Naruto didn't stop there. He spoke not like a boy, but like someone far older than he looked. Someone who had seen things, real things. Things you didn't walk away from the same. He told them about Jiraiya, his mentor, his godfather, his first real connection to the idea of peace. About how he hadn't understood what it meant to choose not to kill until he'd lost someone precious. How he'd been used as a weapon. How he'd fought monsters that laughed in the face of death. How he'd come within seconds of killing men like Deidara and Kakuzu, but the choice had been taken from him. And how, afterward, he'd chosen to walk a harder path. A path without shortcuts. A path where he didn't let rage make his decisions. If I kill in the name of justice, he said, what's to stop the next guy from doing the same in the name of his justice? There it was. Not just a shinobi. Not just a ninja. A leader. Someone who decided that being powerful didn't mean being merciless. Zatanna watched him for a long moment. Then she smirked, folding her arms. You are officially the weirdest ninja I've ever met. Naruto grinned. Thanks. I work hard at it. Kara exhaled with something between a laugh and a sigh of relief. Well, that's one less murder mystery to worry about. Clark nodded, stepping forward with the kind of presence that made you want to salute without knowing why. You don't have to worry. The Justice League has a no-kill policy. We fight to protect. If someone dies, it's because there was no other way. Naruto raised an eyebrow. And you all stick to that? Superman hesitated. Just a beat. Most of us. Zatanna coughed. Batman technically doesn't kill. Technically? Naruto asked. Clark gave a very small smile. He's creative with his interpretation of lethal force. Naruto tilted his head. So he's the break every bone but leave you breathing type? Kara winced, Yup. Naruto whistled. Glad I'm not on his bad side. Yet, Zatanna muttered playfully. Clark cleared his throat. Look, we do imprison criminals. And sometimes we do it ourselves. Governments aren't always trustworthy. Too many times, they've let monsters walk free. Naruto's expression darkened. That, he understood. Keges who turned blind eyes. Councils full of cowards. Danzo. Yeah, he said softly. I've seen that too. The tension eased just a little. Enough to breathe. Naruto glanced down at his hands, rough, scarred, not the hands of a child. I don't want to be a killer, he said. I want to be someone people can believe in. Clark nodded solemnly. Then you're exactly the kind of person this team needs. Naruto Uzumaki had seen some wild things in his life. He'd seen giant toads summon themselves midair, snakes the size of castles slither out of cursed eel tattoos, and an old man turn into a tree. He'd fought men who could raise whole cities and ghosts who wore orange masks like fashion statements. But nothing, and he meant nothing, could have prepared him for Superman's highlight reel. Okay, Naruto said, arms crossed. Let's see what you got. He expected strength, sure. The guy looked like a brick wall with good hair. But what he didn't expect was planetary deadlifts. The first image that floated in Zatanna's glowing magical screen was Clark Kent holding up the Earth. The Earth. Like he just walked into the gym, warmed up with a few push-ups, and decided to hold the planet over his head for 5 days straight. Is this a metaphor? Naruto asked, blinking. Nope, Kara answered brightly. That really happened. Naruto's expression twitched. But physics? Zatanna smirked. You'll find those are more like loose guidelines in our universe. Naruto watched as Superman zipped through space faster than his brain could register, bending around solar flares like he was playing intergalactic dodgeball. Is that a galaxy? He passed a galaxy? Yes, Clark said very casually. I was in a hurry. Then came the punch. The punch that launched a man from Earth to the moon. With one arm. While barely squinting. And that guy lived? Naruto asked. Define lived, Kara muttered. And finally, the black hole. That should have been it. The moment Naruto's brain officially retired. Because nothing says ridiculously overpowered like shrugging off a black hole. Clark had emerged from it like he'd walked through a mild windstorm. The screen faded. Silence settled over the room. Naruto just stood there, mouth slightly open, brain rebooting like a lagging toad scroll. So he said slowly, trying very hard not to sound bitter, you were born under a yellow sun, and now you're basically an immortal mountain with laser eyes? Clark scratched the back of his neck, almost sheepish. Well, I like to think I'm more than just my powers. Naruto blinked. Yeah. That's exactly what someone who survives black holes would say. He took a step back and squinted at the Man of Steel like he was an art piece labeled solar-powered nonsense, circa forever. Kara elbowed Zatanna and whispered, think he's okay? Zatanna chuckled. I think he's going through the 5 stages of Superman. And Naruto was, he just hit stage 4, existential despair. So all that insane strength, you didn't train for it? You just got it because of sunlight? Clark raised his hands. I mean, I did train. But yes, my biology does most of the work. Naruto threw his hands in the air. That's so unfair. I spent years learning to control a demon fox, master wind release, dodge death at least 15 times before breakfast, and you just tan and lift moons for breakfast? Kara tried really hard not to laugh. Zatanna didn't even try. Naruto huffed and crossed his arms like a disgruntled cat. So if I just lay on a beach long enough, I'll punch people to the moon too? Only if you're Kryptonian, Clark replied with a smile. Naruto muttered something under his breath that sounded a lot like stupid alien genetics. But then, after a moment of pouting and internal dramatic monologuing, he calmed down. Because yes, it was unfair. But that didn't mean it wasn't cool. Most people, after watching Superman tank a black hole like it was a gentle breeze, would either cry, pass out, or begin questioning the entire purpose of upper body strength. Naruto Uzumaki? He grinned. Because somewhere between the absurd planet-lifting montage and the moon-punching nonsense, a tiny light bulb flickered in the back of his brain, and Naruto, being Naruto, immediately tried to rip the switch off the wall. If Superman draws power from the sun, and I draw power from nature, then I too can become a walking deity of destruction. Okay, maybe not exactly that phrasing, but it was close enough. His eyes widened. Not out of fear. Out of sheer possibility. If this world had energy radiating from its stars, its atmosphere, its very cosmos, then why limit himself to Earth's natural energy? Why not go bigger? Broader? Galactic Sage Mode, anyone? Sure, he didn't have a PhD in interdimensional metaphysics or whatever nonsense Zatanna and Batman would argue about in a coffee shop, but he had guts. And guts, as every ninja knew, were way more reliable than equations. Naruto spun on his heel and faced Superman, his expression somewhere between awe and I just invented the ultimate jutsu in my head and I need a snack. He jabbed a finger toward Clark. You are the strongest person I've ever seen. Like by a mile. I don't even have a unit of measurement for how strong you are. Clark, who had been expecting mild horror or worship, was caught off guard by the compliment. A thank you? Naruto walked up, all wide-eyed and grinning like someone who just found a new training scroll labeled How to be a Demi-Immortal in 10 days. He raised a fist. Clark blinked. You're cool in my books, Naruto said. It was such a Naruto thing to say. No fear. No shame. Just genuine admiration and the willingness to punch a mountain tomorrow if it meant catching up. Clark couldn't help but smile. He bumped the offered fist, and the knuckles made a satisfying thunk. You're in my good books too. From the sidelines, Kara watched with arms folded, her expression somewhere between amused older sister and proud teacher. Zatanna leaned toward her and whispered, He's going to be trouble, isn't he? Oh, definitely, Kara replied. But the good kind. Naruto's mind, meanwhile, was already off somewhere else, calculating how much natural energy he could absorb if he meditated on top of a satellite during a solar flare. Because if Superman could bench press gravity, then Sage Mode was due for a major cosmic upgrade. Maybe he'd call it Solar Sage Mode. Or Space Sage style, Cosmic Rasengan Boom. He liked that last one. Kyuubi, he said mentally, we're gonna train until the moon explodes. Kurama groaned. Why do I feel like this world is going to regret letting you live? When Zatanna conjured the swirling blue portal and told Naruto to go wild, there were at least 3 possible outcomes. He'd throw a few cool jutsu. He'd blow up a small forest. He'd accidentally break gravity. Thankfully, it was only the second most destructive outcome. A win for containment zones everywhere. They stepped through the portal onto a wasteland so empty it could have been a deleted level from a video game. It stretched for miles in every direction, barren, silent, and reinforced with more wards than a paranoid sorcerer's diary. Naruto, go wild, Kara said, giving him a friendly shove like she just dared him to cannonball into a volcano. Destroy whatever you want, she added, like it was no big deal. Naruto blinked. Are you sure? His voice had that specific you've just handed me the big red button tone. Zatanna smirked, arms folded. Go for it. Just let us know if you plan on busting the planet. Funny, Naruto snorted. Then he vanished. No jutsu flash. No dramatic shout. Just gone. Clark's eyes tracked him instantly, but the rest of the group saw only a golden-orange blur bolting across the desert like a sentient thunderclap. Naruto didn't start small. He reached a mountain the size of a skyscraper in under a second, reared back his fist, and punched. The kind of punch that made the earth shudder like it just remembered it had anxiety. The entire mountain exploded, splintering into a billion dusty fragments. The shockwave kicked up a windstorm that nearly knocked Zatanna's hat off. Okay, Kara said, brushing debris out of her hair. He's definitely not from Kansas. Next came the kunai. Not regular ones, oh no, these were chakra-enhanced, wind-laced throwing knives of doom. He whipped them out midair and threw. Each one streaked like a missile, slicing through solid rock like it owed him money. Then the Rasengan happened. Naruto summoned a shadow clone, whispered something that probably translated to let's melt a continent, and together they formed a Rasengan the size of a house. A 2-story one. They dove, spinning, glowing, hurling toward the next mountain like the world's deadliest Beyblade. Boom. The mountain didn't crumble. It ceased to exist. When the dust finally settled, Naruto dropped lightly onto the cracked earth, calm as a monk, breathing in slow, steady rhythms. His hands still glowed faintly from the residual chakra. He turned back toward the group and gave a casual shrug. That good enough? Clark Kent, aka Superman, smiled. It wasn't a condescending good job, kid smile. It was the kind of smile you give when someone punches a hole through a mountain range and then stands there like they just finished doing their laundry. That was good, he said, nodding. Thank you for the demonstration. What Naruto didn't know was that Clark had been analyzing everything: speed, form, precision, energy output, and adaptability. He didn't just watch Naruto's attacks, he saw through them. And what he saw? A warrior. Not just powerful, but disciplined. Not just fast, but tactical. Not just raw force, but years of experience. Each move Naruto made had intent, efficiency baked into every strike, every leap, every flick of a kunai. Clark's internal Kryptonian scanner clocked Naruto at Mach 100 even without any transformation. That alone made him faster than most metahumans. Combined with chakra-enhanced durability, agility, and whatever eldritch nonsense powered that giant glowing sphere, Naruto was easily in the top tier of global threats. Well, global assets, Clark corrected mentally. Clark's electromagnetic aura would still dampen most of Naruto's attacks, and he knew that. But there was something else inside the boy, something older, deeper. Not chakra. Not mere physical might. But spirituality. Intent. Magic. And magic, Clark knew from experience, didn't play by physics. Naruto grinned, looking perfectly at home in a field of craters and broken hills. He didn't seem discouraged that Clark and Kara still outclassed him. He wasn't sulking or measuring power levels like a numbers game. He was excited. Excited to learn. Excited to grow. Excited to surpass everything. Clark recognized that fire. He'd seen it before. In Bruce. In Diana. Even in young Billy Batson. But in Naruto, it burned differently. It wasn't born of tragedy or responsibility. It was born of hope. Zatanna stepped beside him, adjusting her gloves. So? What do you think? Clark didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at Naruto, still grinning, still full of light in a world that wasn't his. I think, Clark finally said, we just found ourselves a new hero. Naruto had just finished vaporizing a mountain the size of a small city and was still riding that high when he turned to Zatanna with the eagerness of a kid in a candy shop who had just found the secret menu. Zatanna, is there a way for me to learn more skills? He asked, arms crossed like he meant business. You've seen my list, it's pretty limited. I think I should at least learn teleportation. It could be useful for escaping bad situations. Zatanna raised a perfectly sculpted brow, clearly amused. It's not impossible, she said, her voice laced with mischief, given your potential. Naruto's eyes went wide like he just found ramen in the desert. Really? Yes, she confirmed, before dropping the magical hammer. But magic isn't just about waving your hands and saying bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. You'll have to study complex arcane theory, spatial equations, advanced sigil geometry. Naruto blinked. Not to mention understanding the inherent limitations of transdimensional folding and how energy signatures sync with ley lines. Naruto slowly blinked again, the light in his eyes flickering like a dying bulb. How are your academics? Zatanna asked sweetly. Naruto stared at her like she just asked him to recite the entire periodic table backward while underwater. Shit. Zatanna sighed like a parent watching their kid try to microwave metal. That'll take you a few years then. Naruto clutched his head. Why is everything that helps you not die so freaking complicated? Because reality doesn't like being bent, she said cheerfully. And if you do it wrong, you don't just teleport into a wall, you might teleport into the sun. Naruto made a noise that could only be described as a spiritual groan. He looked at his hands, then at the sky, as if pleading to the sage of six paths for a magical shortcut. Can I just train it? Like chakra? Or punch a portal open or something? Zatanna looked genuinely appalled. Did you just say punch a portal? Hey, I once punched a guy so hard he had a flashback. It's not that far off. Kara snorted in the background, clearly enjoying the chaos. Clark, ever the composed one, was pretending not to smile. But Naruto wasn't done brainstorming. Wait, shadow clones, he said, snapping his fingers. I'll just make like 100 of them and have them study for me. Zatanna looked skeptical. Would that work? Totally. Everything they learn goes back to me when they poof. Boom, instant academic upgrade. Zatanna raised a hand. And will they be focused, diligent scholars? He remembered that one time he left a group of clones to study a sealing scroll and came back to find them playing poker with frogs. Probably not, he admitted. Zatanna gave him a knowing look, one hand on her hip. Then you'll have to learn the hard way. Ugh. Naruto flopped backwards onto a rock like it had personally betrayed him. Why does magic have homework? Naruto wasn't used to comfort. Sure, he'd gotten a few heartfelt words from Iruka-sensei back in the day, and Jiraiya had done his whole tough love shtick. But real, physical comfort? A gentle hand on the back and a warm smile that said you're not alone in this? That was rarer than Sasuke telling a joke. So when Kara placed her hand on his back and smiled at him like he wasn't just a shinobi turned dimensionally lost wanderer, Naruto blinked like she'd handed him a bowl of ramen for free. You've got plenty of time to learn, she said gently, giving him a reassuring pat. So don't rush it and hurt yourself. Naruto sighed. He wanted to rush. He wanted to teleport yesterday and figure out cosmic secrets before dinner. But she wasn't wrong. Kara wasn't just powerful, she was wise in her own superpowered way. If she could be patient with herself, he could at least try to be patient with a book or two. Besides, Kara added, her grin lighting up like a solar flare, I gotta admit, your attacks had some real power behind them. I actually felt that punch a little. Naruto blinked again, this time in stunned silence. Wait, seriously? Yeah. Kara nodded. Not as much as Superman would, but you've got a good amount of oomph. Keep training and who knows? Naruto's face broke into a wide grin. His confidence, which had taken a hit after watching Clark casually moonjog through space, perked up like a puppy hearing the tree bag rustle. Ha! Told you I'm awesome, he said, puffing out his chest dramatically. Zatanna cleared her throat loudly, interrupting the budding ego trip. She clapped her hands together like a teacher about to assign weekend homework. All right, Igonin, she said. Time's up. You three need rest. And possibly food. And definitely sleep. With a flick of her wrist and a whispered incantation that sounded suspiciously like someone sneezing backward, a glowing, swirling portal tore open before them. It looked like a cross between a rainbow smoothie and a black hole with good intentions. Naruto tilted his head. That goop leads to the Young Justice place? Headquarters, Zatanna corrected. Don't call it place. They'll make you clean the bathrooms for that. Kara laughed and nudged Naruto forward. Come on. I'll introduce you to the team. You'll like them, especially Beast Boy. He's loud, annoying, and totally your type. Wait, what's my type? Naruto asked, raising a brow. Chaos Gremlin Energy, Kara replied without hesitation. Naruto gave her a look. A beat passed. You're not wrong. Zatanna rolled her eyes and gave them a two-finger wave. Go cause trouble somewhere else, please. I have spells to organize. The trio stepped through the portal, the magical light wrapping around them like a warm breeze. As Naruto disappeared into the swirl of color and magic, he glanced back one last time at the wasteland he'd nearly flattened. He hadn't found his way home yet. But he had found something close. A new path. New allies. And maybe, just maybe, a new kind of home. Alien tech and emotional wrecks, in which Naruto gets a tour, shares trauma like snacks, and maybe makes a friend. When Naruto first stepped into Mount Justice, he expected, well, something impressive. What he didn't expect was a base that looked like a spaceship and a science lab had a baby, and then let Batman raise it. He glanced around, taking it all in with quiet awe, sleek walls that hummed with hidden power, floors that shone without being polished, and panels that glowed like chakra seals drawn by lightning. Well, Naruto muttered to himself, this makes the Hokage office look like a shack. Even the air smelled clean. Unnaturally clean. Suspiciously clean. He half expected a disembodied voice to announce, sanitizing ninja detected, initiating anti-scroll protocol. But what really struck him wasn't the tech, it was how empty the place felt. A base this big should have been crawling with teammates, advisors, sidekicks, and probably a few over-caffeinated speedsters. Instead, it was quiet. Clark, floating beside him with all the subtlety of a mountain in tights, seemed to notice too. "This is a rare scene," Superman murmured. Before Naruto could ask what exactly that meant, Kara zoomed ahead like a flying puppy on a sugar rush. "Hey guys. How have you been?" Naruto followed her gaze and spotted a small group of girls walking through the hangar. There were 4 of them, and they all radiated "I've punched a villain before breakfast" energy. Kara made a beeline for Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, and tackled her in a mid-air hug. "Supergirl, where have you been?" Barbara yelped, staggering back a step. "Sorry I didn't tell you," Kara replied sheepishly, brushing hair out of her face. "I went back to where Krypton used to exist." Just like that, the mood dipped. Naruto, still adjusting to the emotional roller coaster that was Kara Danvers, watched as the others reacted with silent understanding. Even from across the room, he could tell, these weren't just teammates. They were family. Miss Martian stepped forward with a kind smile and extended her hand. Her soft green features reminded Naruto of a frog summon, if frogs had graceful posture and mind-reading powers. "It's good to see you again," she said. "Same here," Kara replied. "Are you still following the team closely?" Gan nodded. "Yes. I think senior members should stay involved. Help the new ones grow." Naruto stayed back, awkward but observant. This wasn't his moment, and he knew it. But that didn't stop Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark, from noticing the new arrival. "Hey," she said, tilting her head. "Who's the guy with the whiskers?" Naruto scratched his cheek. Hi. I'm Naruto. Not a cat. Despite the face." That got a laugh from Bumblebee, who floated over on her tiny wings before growing to full size again. "I like him already." Kara spun around with a proud smile, slinging an arm over Naruto's shoulders. "Everyone, meet Naruto Uzumaki. He's from another world. Literally. Another dimension," Clark clarified, because of course he did. Batgirl blinked. "Is it weird that I'm not surprised anymore?" "Not at all," Gan added. "It's Tuesday." Naruto gave a small wave, a bit overwhelmed but hiding it well. He wasn't used to meeting people who didn't immediately ask if he was going to blow something up. "Nice to meet you all," he said. "This place is amazing. I've seen hidden villages, toad palaces, and floating turtle islands, but this is next level." Naruto flashed his signature grin, the one that said, "I've been through 3 life-or-death battles and 5 bowls of ramen today." He rubbed the back of his head sheepishly, addressing the group like he just walked into a barbecue instead of a secret superhero base. "I hope we can get along while I'm here. If you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to lend a hand." Cassie, always the straightforward type, crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes, not suspicious, just curious. "What can you do?" To her credit, she didn't scoff or smirk or throw out a sarcastic comment. She just wanted to know who this whisker-faced guy was and whether he was more cool ally or liability in spandex. Before Naruto could answer, Kara stepped in like a proud older sister who definitely didn't just meet him a few hours ago. "He's stronger than most of the team, and has some insane ranged abilities." Naruto quickly waved her off. Hold up," he said, grinning. "I think the best way to understand each other is through combat." That got everyone's attention. Barbara, who was leaning against a nearby table typing into a tablet, paused mid-keystroke. Bumblebee blinked. Gan tilted her head like a curious cat. And Cassie's grin was slow but wicked. "You want to spar the whole team?" "Yep," Naruto said cheerfully, as if suggesting a board game instead of open combat. "No better way to get to know each other. You see how someone moves, how they think. It's the shinobi way." Kara frowned slightly, but it wasn't disapproval, it was concern. "Naruto, I don't think that's a good idea. Some of the team members are really strong." "No problem," Naruto replied with a shrug. "It's just sparring. No danger of death, right?" Clark, who had remained quiet long enough to make the walls uncomfortable, finally nodded thoughtfully. "Okay," he said, "I'll allow it. But full supervision. You pull your punches. Everyone pulls their punches." Barbara, however, held up a hand like a referee about to declare a timeout. "Can we not do this now? The boys aren't here, and Nightwing already gave us a recon mission. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Naruto gave a dramatic sigh, equal parts theatrical and genuine. Alright. Another time then. In truth, he was itching to test himself against them. This world had so many new kinds of power: magic, Kryptonians, Martians, gadgeters with more belts than sense, and Naruto wanted to see where he stood. But he wasn't reckless. Not anymore. Observe and learn first, he told himself. Strike later. For now, he leaned back and folded his arms, watching as the girls gathered around a large holodeck to review mission parameters. Kara gave him an encouraging nudge on the shoulder as she passed by. You'll get your chance, she said with a smirk. Just don't try to fight them all at once. That's my job. Naruto chuckled, settling into a chair with the kind of relaxed tension only trained warriors ever fully understood. Kara's brow furrowed. Wait a second, what is Nightwing doing here? She asked, tilting her head like a confused cat presented with a cucumber. Wasn't he leading the Titans? Barbara let out the kind of sigh reserved for bad coffee and emotional landmines. They broke up. Not long after you left. That stopped Kara cold. What? Why? There was a pause, the kind you only hear right before someone drops a social nuke. Relationship problems, Barbara said flatly. Kara winced. Yikes. Go on. Cyborg joined the Justice League full-time, Barbara continued, ticking off on her fingers. And Beast Boy broke up with Raven, which, well, she kind of disappeared after that. Kara blinked. Disappeared or stormed off and slammed the dimension door. Disappeared? The latter. No one's heard from her since. That hit Naruto like a brick. He hadn't known Raven personally, hadn't even met her yet, but something about it felt wrong. He straightened, his tone sharp. Wait, what happened to Raven? Barbara gave a sidelong glance. Nobody really knows. She can travel between dimensions, so she just vanished. Naruto frowned. And you just let her go? The room shifted slightly. Kara's shoulders tensed. Bumblebee raised an eyebrow. Even Miss Martian turned to look more closely. Heartbreak can mess someone up badly, Naruto continued, his tone growing more intense. She might act strong, but that kind of pain? That can twist you inside out. Someone should have been there. You don't just let a teammate suffer alone. Kara sighed, rubbing her arm. Naruto, Raven's incredibly powerful. If she loses control, she could take down the entire league. She already did once, back when she... Exactly. Naruto snapped. That makes it worse. She's already dangerous because of what she holds inside. That means she needs support, not space. Barbara crossed her arms, defensive but not unkind. Look, I get it. But most of us never really knew Raven. She wasn't League. She wasn't Young Justice. She was a Titan. Naruto scoffed, shaking his head like someone being told ramen was just soup. Doesn't matter. You don't need to be best friends to care. A teammate's a teammate. You check in. You try. That's what it means to be on a team. The silence that followed was thick with reflection. Kara looked down. Barbara bit her lip. Gan fiddled with her communicator. Superman, who had been standing quietly at the side like the literal statue of moral responsibility, finally spoke. You're right, Naruto. All heads turned. Clark stepped forward, his eyes calm but resolute. I'll have someone look into Raven's location. I should have done it earlier. Naruto blinked. That was fast. Even he wasn't expecting Superman to just agree like that. But then he saw the look in Clark's eyes, one of genuine conviction, and he knew it wasn't a hollow promise. Thanks, Naruto said quietly. I know I'm new here, but no one should have to go through heartbreak alone. Superman gave a small but warm smile. That's a good way to think. Kara clapped Naruto on the back, nearly knocking the wind out of him. Look at you, emotional and practical. You're going to fit right in. Let's just hope you don't try to fight Raven when we find her, Bumblebee muttered under her breath. Only if she tries to blow up a dimension, Naruto said with a wink. The girls started to head out toward the Zeta Tube, mission brief in hand. Cassie gave Naruto one last look over her shoulder. There was something about him, something strong, sure, but also something that listened to pain instead of running from it. That was rare. She didn't say anything, just nodded once, like a silent, I see you, and followed the others. As the mission team zipped off into the Zeta Tube with farewell waves and hero-level nonchalance, Naruto turned to Kara and Clark. So what now? Clark chuckled with the calm authority of someone who bench-pressed Jupiter last Tuesday. Now? You get settled in. But something tells me you'll fit in just fine. Naruto grinned. Maybe, just maybe, this world wasn't all steel buildings and existential crises. Mount Justice, 10 minutes and at least 5 Kara speedwalks later. Come on, Kara said, practically bouncing. Let me show you around. Naruto followed her through the sleek, humming halls of Mount Justice, his gaze flicking from glowing panels to automated doors that opened like they were trained to greet royalty. This place is insane, he muttered, half in awe, half in genuine bewilderment. I've never seen anything like it. Kara smirked. Yeah, I figured. You come from a world with more magic than tech, right? Right, he nodded. We use chakra. It powers everything from our light bulbs to our jutsus. We don't really do glowing panels and hover screens. We just, explode things with our minds. He turned to her, raising a brow. What about you? You look human, but you've got that flying and laser eyes thing going on. So alien? Kara's playful smile faded into something quieter. You're right. I'm not human. I'm Kryptonian. Naruto blinked. Crypto what? Kryptonian, she corrected with a soft laugh. My planet, Krypton, was destroyed a long time ago. I was sent to Earth as a baby to survive, but things didn't go smoothly. I arrived years later than I was supposed to. My cousin, Superman, had already grown up. The weight of it hit Naruto immediately. So you're an orphan too? Kara gave a small nod. Yeah. And just like that, the gleaming corridors and futuristic wonders faded into the background. The silence between them wasn't awkward, it was shared. I know what that's like, Naruto said, his voice softer now. I lost my parents the day I was born. They died protecting me from a monster. Kara's gaze turned to him, her features touched with gentle sympathy. I'm sorry, Naruto. He smiled, an old smile, heavy at the edges. It's okay. I didn't know them growing up, but I learned later that they loved me. Knowing that it helped. Kara studied him carefully. His strength wasn't just in fists and flashy moves. It was in how he carried his pain without letting it crush him. You're different from most warriors I've met, she said quietly. You've been through so much, but you still care about others. Most people, they let pain turn them cold. Naruto shrugged, not out of arrogance, but simplicity. I've been angry. I've hated. But none of that helped. It just made everything worse. So I decided, I won't let my pain decide who I am. Kara's heart tugged a little at that. She didn't say it, but she had needed to hear those words. He didn't even know it, but he'd offered something rare, perspective. That's really amazing, Naruto. He rubbed the back of his head with a sheepish grin. Nah, it's just how I roll. She smirked. No. It is amazing. One slightly emotional bonding montage later. Kara led him to a clean, surprisingly cozy room. Bed, desk, closet, and best of all, 0 evil monsters lurking in corners. Well, this is your place now, she said, leaning against the doorway. Make yourself at home. Naruto looked around. It wasn't much, but it was his, at least for now. Thanks, Kara. I appreciate you showing me around. Anytime, she said, hesitating just long enough for it to mean something. If you ever need anything, just ask, okay? He gave her a sincere nod. I will. Same goes for you. She smiled, and something unspoken passed between them, not romance, not yet, but connection. Trust. Deal, she said, and walked away. Naruto sat on the bed, staring at the clean white ceiling above him. He was still far from home. But now, it didn't feel quite so lonely. With Kara gone and silence hugging the corners of the room, Naruto lay sprawled on the bed like a starfish with a chakra hangover. The lights of Mount Justice dimmed automatically, reacting to his stillness like some kind of mood-setting jutsu. His eyes fixed on the ceiling, but his mind raced miles ahead. This world's insane. I'm surrounded by people who punch planets and sneeze through black holes. If I want to survive here, I need to level up. Fast. He had no idea how long he'd be stuck in this dimension, but one thing was clear, waiting around wasn't an option. The thought of expanding Sage Mode was tempting, sure, but also terrifying. Going too far, too fast, and poof, he turned into a very philosophical lawn ornament. I need a new approach, he muttered. And that's when it happened. A deep, rumbling voice, like an earthquake in a cave full of sarcasm, echoed in his mind. Naruto. Come inside. Oh, he knew that voice. The ancient, growly, sometimes grumpy, occasionally sarcastic embodiment of fire and destruction, Kurama. Inside the mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes in his subconscious, standing once again before the massive iron gate. The water at his feet rippled gently, and behind the bars loomed a presence that could scare most gods into therapy. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, lay coiled in lazy power, crimson eyes half-lidded like he'd just woken from a 1,000-year nap he barely tolerated. I'm here, Naruto said, arms crossed. I can see that, genius, Kurama replied with a roll of his eyes. No snarling. No insults about humans being parasites. Progress? Naruto squinted. Okay, spill it. What do you want? Kurama let out a breath like a snorting volcano. I've been thinking we need to work together. And for that, I need you to open the seal. Naruto blinked. You mean that seal? He pointed dramatically at the glowing kanji that looked like it belonged in a magical instruction manual titled How Not to Unleash Doom. Yes, Kurama replied flatly. And no, I'm not trying to eat your soul or possess your body, or whatever horror movie nonsense you're thinking. Naruto raised an eyebrow. So what's the catch? Why the sudden team spirit? Kurama leaned forward, his claws tapping the floor ominously. Because you're floundering, kid. You're strong, sure. But in this world? You're a candle in a hurricane. You need me. And whether you like it or not, I'm your best shot at surviving here. Naruto didn't deny it, but he did glare. You're really gonna say that like you're some genius strategist? Kurama's tails flicked. Compared to you? Yes. I've lived for centuries, fought monsters, watched empires crumble, and survived long enough to become folklore. You once tried to solve a hostage crisis by headbutting the bomb. That did work, though. By accident. Naruto grumbled but didn't argue. Fair point. Okay, smart guy. Prove it. Give me something I can't argue with. Kurama smirked. Use Sage Mode. Look at me. See if I still reek of rage and death. Naruto hesitated. Then, with a familiar hand sign, he pulled in the natural energy around him. His eyes shifted, his pupils turned to slits, orange pigment framing his face. The world sharpened. It always did in Sage Mode. He turned his gaze toward the fox. And froze. Whoa. Because the usual chaotic swirl of malice and killing intent wasn't there. Kurama felt calm. Not harmless, of course, he was still a living WMD, but not hostile. You don't feel like a monster anymore, Naruto whispered. Kurama's expression softened. Just a little. Because I'm not. Not really. I never was. Naruto cocked his head. Okay, then what is your real name? Because I've been calling you Ninetales like you're a Pokemon. The fox let out a low chuckle. Kurama. Naruto blinked. Seriously? Kurama smirked. What, were you expecting something like death on the eternal flame? A little, yeah. They shared a rare moment of silence. Alright, Kurama, Naruto said finally. What's the plan? Kurama's gaze sharpened. You're actually thinking now. You've changed. Naruto's smirk faded. His voice dropped lower. Loss does that to people. And just like that, Kurama understood. This wasn't just about strength anymore. This was about survival, redemption, and maybe something. So here's the scene, inside Naruto's brain, which, let's be honest, is already a chaotic place full of ramen dreams and fight replays. There's a massive sewer chamber holding a murder fox the size of a mountain. Kurama, the great and fearsome Ninetales, loomed behind his cage like an ancient landlord who's very tired of his tenant ignoring rent, life lessons, and common sense. All right, Kurama said, his voice deep enough to register on seismographs. Listen carefully. You know that I am pure chakra, correct? Naruto, ever the attentive scholar, note, sarcasm, nodded confidently. Yeah, obviously. Kurama stared at him. The silence that followed was heavy and slightly judgmental. Do you know how much chakra? Naruto tilted his head. A lot. If Kurama had a forehead, he'd have been massaging it. I am part of the Jubi. The Ten-Tails genius. The big cosmic beast that came from the planet itself. So yeah, I'm walking around with the chakra equivalent of half a planet. Naruto's eyes widened. Just slightly. He did his best to look cool about it. Okay, and what's the point? Kurama narrowed his eyes. This is why you need my help. I've got chakra coming out of my metaphorical ears, and my strongest attack can barely blow up a city. I couldn't take out a moon, let alone a planet. Wanna know why? You're secretly holding back because deep down you love humanity? Kurama gave him a deadpan stare that could flatten mountains. No. It's because I never trained. Never refined my techniques. I relied purely on raw power. I thought it would always be enough. He paused, his tails swaying behind him like angry tree branches. But power without control. It's wasted potential. And you, my little ramen-obsessed meathead, are walking the same path. Naruto blinked. Wait, I'm doing it too? Yes. Kurama growled. You've got enough chakra to light up a country, and yet you keep blowing it on giant flashy moves with zero efficiency. You've basically been fighting like a blender on fire. Naruto opened his mouth, then closed it. That was uncomfortably accurate. Look at the pink-haired girl on your team, Kurama went on, voice smug now. She's got maybe a cup of chakra compared to your ocean. And yet, with a little bit of control and training, she could flatten you with one punch if you weren't using Sage Mode. Naruto gave a lopsided grin. Yes, Sakura is pretty amazing. That's not the point, idiot. Kurama snapped, nearly causing a mental earthquake. This is about control. Bigger isn't better. Stronger comes from smaller. Precision. Compression. Efficiency. Think sniper rifle, not bazooka. Naruto scratched his head. Okay. I get it. You want me to start refining my chakra instead of just chucking it at everything like a kid with fireworks. Kurama sighed, then nodded. Exactly. And that brings us to your next lesson. You've never truly used Sage Mode to its full potential. You mean absorbing more nature energy? Not more, Kurama corrected. You've never absorbed it to match your entire chakra reserve. That gave Naruto pause. Wait, like me, full of chakra and full of nature energy at the same time? Exactly, Kurama said. Your base chakra is equal to one of my tails. In Sage Mode, you match too. But with my full cooperation, you'll be able to absorb natural energy that matches both our reserves. That's more than a planet's worth of Senjutsu chakra. Naruto's jaw dropped. His brain spun faster than a raisin shuriken mid-throw. He had to sit down. Mentally, of course. So basically I go Ultra Sage Mode, absorb all that juicy cosmic juice, and then unlock your full power? Yes, Kurama said. As a safety measure? Yes. So I don't die or explode? Yes. Cool. Naruto rubbed his chin thoughtfully, then smirked. So what you're saying is you want me to power up first before unlocking you? Just to be safe? Kurama narrowed his eyes. Did you drop your balls on the way here? Naruto burst out laughing. If there was a book called How to Make Questionable Life Choices with a Grin, Naruto Uzumaki would have been the cover model. Probably twice. Shirtless. Flexing with a raisin gan in one hand and a ramen bowl in the other. Because when faced with the decision of unlocking a cosmic chakra beast with a history of mass destruction and a temper issue that could crack planets, Naruto didn't hesitate. He climbed up the massive iron gate that had caged Kurama for his entire life, planted both hands on the seal, took a breath. YOLO. And ripped that thing off like it was just another ramen wrapper. A deep, echoing sound pulsed through the chamber, like thunder rolling through a mountain, as the seal disintegrated. The towering bars vanished with a shimmer, leaving only silence, and a whole lot of nervous chakra butterflies. Kurama blinked. Huh. That actually worked. He stepped forward, stretching for the first time in centuries. His massive form loomed like a walking natural disaster, tails lazily swaying, chakra thick enough to feel like humidity. Finally, Kurama rumbled, voice echoing like ancient drums. After hundreds of years I am free. Naruto stood there, not flinching. Not running. Just watching. Because for once, he trusted the fox. Also, Superman existed in this world, and Kurama? Not suicidal. Kurama leaned down, extended one claw, and booped Naruto right on the forehead. Big mistake? Nope. Biggest power-up of Naruto's life. Because suddenly, Naruto felt like the universe hit the unlock all cheats button inside his soul. His chakra exploded outward, not literally, thankfully. His reserves swelled like someone had added a dozen zeros to the end of his spiritual bank account. Every nerve lit up like a Christmas tree on steroids. His breath caught in his throat. This is insane, Naruto gasped, eyes glowing with raw energy. Kurama grinned. It was unsettling, majestic, and vaguely adorable all at once. And that's just the appetizer. Don't faint yet, champ. Naruto blinked. Wait, there's more? Did you forget about Sage Mode already? Kurama teased, a glint in his eyes. Naruto slapped his forehead. Oh my god, no way, no way. Yes way, Kurama said, sounding way too smug for a literal chakra monster. With Sage Mode balanced with both our full reserves, you'll have access to energy on a planetary scale. Literal Sage-powered world breaker stuff. You're welcome. Naruto looked like he was having a minor spiritual crisis and a sugar high at the same time. That's ridiculous. That's like cheat codes. I'd be a walking nuke with eyebrows. Kurama smirked. Exactly. But here's the catch. You can't just stand in a battlefield doing yoga to gather all that nature energy. You'd get punched into next week. Naruto nodded. Right. Because I don't want to die mid-meditation. That's why I'm helping you, Kurama said, casually flexing his tails. I'm gonna teach you. Chakra control, senjutsu absorption, precision. Everything you need to earn that power, not just luck into it. Naruto stared at him. This was real. He wasn't dreaming. The monster that once snarled death threats at him now sounded like a grumpy, jaded teacher with cosmic-level power and sass. You're serious, Naruto said. Kurama puffed out his chest like a proud mythological sensei. Dead serious. From now on, we train. We refine. We dominate. We become monsters. Then he laughed. A deep, wicked, vibrating laugh that sounded like a villain monologue but with good intentions. Naruto had a thought. This was dangerous. Not because Naruto wasn't smart, he had good instincts and a stubborn heart of gold, but because when he did think too hard, something utterly chaotic usually followed. So, of course, he asked the one question that would flip his entire understanding of chakra on its head. Hey, Kurama, how different was your father's Sage Mode from mine? Kurama, ancient, eternal, and perpetually annoyed, stared at him like someone who had just asked if the moon was made of ramen. Then his expression changed. It grew serious. Weighty. Dad Mode serious. Very different, Kurama said slowly. His Sage Mode wasn't just a technique. It was like flipping a universal switch. Nature energy entered him with a thought. He could absorb a planet's worth of energy in a heartbeat. And even without Sage Mode, he had more chakra than the planet itself. Naruto's jaw twitched. Sounds like cheating. Kurama gave a snort. You're not wrong. But then he added something that really broke Naruto's noodle. Nature isn't just trees and frogs, Naruto. It's everything. Gravity, time, heat, radiation, electromagnetism. If it exists naturally in the universe, it's part of the grand system of nature. Naruto blinked. Wait. You're saying Sage Mode can, like, control gravity? Kurama smirked. Eventually. At the highest level? Yes. Naruto had to sit down for a second. That was too much philosophical science chakra soup for one day. So what else could your dad do? He asked. Kurama's eyes half-lidded, distant. He was young. Didn't fight much. But I saw him use wood release. Gravity manipulation. All elements. And those orbs. Truth-seeking balls? Naruto perked up. Kurama nodded. Yeah. Condensed reality-breaking death orbs. Real crowd-pleasers. They were the combined essence of all chakra nature, able to erase anything. Even souls. Naruto's eyes sparkled like he'd just seen a jutsu menu at a ninja buffet. Can I get those too? Kurama shrugged, casual as ever. If you master Sage Mode on a higher level, maybe. But first, you need to get used to keeping Sage Mode on all the time. Let your body absorb and adapt, like chakra-enhanced conditioning. Naruto's eyes blazed with determination. Kurama, you're a genius! Let's do it! He immediately plopped into lotus position, hands clasped, ready to vibe with the universe. He started drawing in nature energy like it was his first cup of morning ramen. Kurama just stared at him with a look that was half admiration, half you better not blow yourself up. And then he saw it. A faint, silvery shimmer threaded into Naruto's chakra. A ghost of warmth. Of legacy. Ashura's chakra, it's finally awakening. Kurama felt something strange stir in his chest, a flicker of hope. Pride? Definitely indigestion, probably also pride. He turned his attention back to the meditating team. Naruto was raw, powerful, and earnest. He had freed Kurama without hesitation. Not as a tool. Not as a weapon. As a partner. Kurama could work with that. Then he frowned. He really should have bothered his teachers for more jutsu. Because now they were stuck with what, like 2 Rasengan variations and a very creative clone spam strategy? Great. Kurama rolled his eyes. At least he's got wind release. And then his inner ancient dad kicked in. His wind control is decent, but as always, he ignored it after learning one cool move. If he focused, he could be generating hurricanes, creating wind blades, air pressure prisons, slicing atoms. Heck, collapse someone's lung by messing with internal airflow. By the time Kurama finished internally ranting, he had a whole training arc planned. A terrifyingly effective one. Step 1, Clone Army. Step 2, Chakra Control Bootcamp. Step 3, Wind Jutsu War Crimes. Step 4, Sage Mode X Planetary Fusion X Spiritual Enlightenment. Step 5, Step 6, Profit. He even considered throwing in science books. Force equals mass X acceleration, and all that jazz. Kurama huffed, then grinned. For the first time in centuries, the QB didn't feel like a prisoner. He felt like a mentor. A coach. A terrifying mystical fox dad with a plan. Let's do it, kid, he whispered, watching the faint glow of natural energy bloom around Naruto. Let's turn you into something legendary. Because the world had seen monsters. It had seen heroes. But it hadn't seen Naruto Uzumaki, Sage of Storms and Shadow. Yet. Naruto was meditating like a champ. Golden energy swirled around him like a celestial rave, the air crackling with raw power. To the untrained eye, it probably looked like someone had dropped a sun inside Mount Justice. To Red Tornado, however, it looked like an emergency. Within seconds, the android hero phased through the walls of Naruto's room, his glowing red eyes scanning every atom like a mechanical guardian angel with a mild suspicion of explosions. Naruto Uzumaki, Red Tornado said, his voice calm but firm, your energy levels have increased exponentially. You were instructed to rest. Are you in distress? Naruto blinked open one eye mid-meditation, looking completely unbothered despite glowing like a nuclear ramen packet. Oh. Hey, robot guy. Red Tornado tilted his head. I am not merely a robot guy. I am Red Tornado. I am the supervisor of this facility in the absence of the League. Naruto stood up, stretching his limbs, still surrounded by a faint golden aura. Sorry. Didn't mean to trigger an alert or whatever. I'm fine, just training. Behind him, 2 identical clones sat cross-legged, eyes closed, pulling in nature energy like spiritual vacuum cleaners. They're collecting more energy for me, Naruto explained casually. Figured I'd multitask. Red Tornado's glowing eyes narrowed. Clones of yourself? Yep. Shadow clones. It's kind of my thing. The android paused, processing approximately 24 things at once, including the fact that this new guest had just casually performed high-level multitasking chakra manipulation while still technically on bed rest. Noted. That's when Kurama, ever the peanut gallery in Naruto's head, piped up. Ask him if his name means he can control wind. Naruto blinked. Wait, seriously? That's your question? Not is he gonna tattle to Superman, or why does he have zero fashion sense? Just ask, idiot. Naruto turned back toward Red Tornado. Hey, a weird question, But since you're called Red Tornado, does that mean you, control wind or something? Red Tornado's chest vent flickered as he gave a slow nod. Affirmative. My primary combat ability is aerokinesis, the manipulation of wind currents, atmospheric pressure, and related phenomena. Naruto's eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. No way. You're a wind guy too? The clones broke meditation just long enough to glance over with matching grins. Wind bros, they whispered before going back to channeling energy. Naruto stepped forward, bouncing slightly on his toes with excitement. Okay, listen, I'm working on improving my wind release. I know the basics, but I kinda got distracted by, saving the world and stuff. But if you're good with wind, maybe you could help me get better? Red Tornado paused. In truth, he had never trained a shinobi with glowing eyes, demon fox energy, and the conversational energy of a caffeinated golden retriever. But he had taught younger heroes before. And Naruto, for all his chaotic vibes, did seem eager and polite. Mostly. I can assist, he said finally. Provided you follow safety protocols. You are still recovering from psychological trauma and excessive chakra use. Yeah, trauma, nightmares, inner demons. Literally, I get it, Naruto said, waving a hand. But I feel better when I'm training. And besides. He gave a small smile. Helping people is easier when you're strong enough to stand on your own. Red Tornado's sensors registered a subtle truth in that statement. Despite his strange demeanor, Naruto meant it. Very well. I will construct a wind manipulation simulation in the training chamber. We will begin with precision drills. Control precedes power. Naruto gave an exaggerated salute. Yes, Sensei Cyclone. Kurama groaned. Please never say that again. As the clones dispelled to feed their gathered energy into Naruto's core, the golden glow around him stabilized, blending seamlessly into his natural chakra. Red Tornado turned and began walking toward the hallway. It had been a long time since anyone had asked Red Tornado to teach them anything. Most of the teenage heroes at Mount Justice already had mentors: Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Superman, basically the Justice League with an extended family discount. So even though Red Tornado was technically their supervisor, he often felt like the camp counselor who only got called in when someone broke the rules or set the kitchen on fire. Helpful? Yes. Inspirational? Meh. Memorable? Not unless you like talking to air purifiers with dad energy. But now, as Naruto eagerly followed him down the steel corridors toward the training room, something stirred in Red Tornado's synthetic chest cavity. Not a heart, of course. But something. Maybe nostalgia. Maybe the ghost of a smile in his code. 5 years ago, Superbat and Kid Flash would have called him Toaster Dad or asked if he could DJ with his chest vents. Now here he was, actually about to teach again. The training room was empty, just reinforced floors, high ceilings, and more battle damage than your average high school locker room. Naruto bounced in place like a kid before a field trip. So show me the cool stuff. Red Tornado stepped forward, the lights reflecting off his crimson and gold alloy. Observe. With a faint whir of internal turbines, the air around him shifted. In seconds, a small tornado spun to life beside him, swirling with surgical precision and staying contained within a defined area. Tornado formation. Controlled rotation of wind currents focused into a tight spiral. Used for offense, defense, and distraction. With a simple twist of his palm, the twister collapsed, whoosh, like a magician's disappearing trick. Next. He extended his arm, and a shimmering wall of compressed air snapped into existence in front of him, just in time to deflect a practice energy blast fired from a corner turret. Wind barrier. Can deflect physical projectiles and certain energy types. Requires precise balance. Then, without moving from his spot, Red Tornado clenched his fists and... boom. The air pressure around Naruto dropped. Like a switch had been flipped. The weight of the world vanished, and he suddenly felt like he was floating underwater. Vacuum. Removes oxygen from a space. Most living beings cannot function without it. Naruto gasped and took a step back, blinking rapidly. Whoa, okay, we're getting serious now. Then came the pressure spike. Red Tornado raised both arms and... crack. The air compressed like a fist from all directions. Naruto suddenly felt his body grow heavy, like someone had dropped a mountain on him. Atmospheric pressure increase. Used to pin targets or crush weak materials. Extremely effective against flyers and high-speed combatants. He relaxed, and the room returned to normal. These are merely examples. Manipulating air is not simply about pushing it around. It is about understanding its presence, its weight, and its absence. Naruto stood in silence, mouth slightly agape. I'm starting to think I've been using wind like a caveman with a leaf blower. Red Tornado didn't laugh. His programming didn't really do that, but the brief flicker in his optic lenses was probably the android equivalent of a chuckle. Perhaps. But your chakra gives you potential. Focused intent turns raw energy into usable technique. He stepped back and clasped his hands behind his back in his usual upright posture. I have shown you enough for now. Practice what you have seen. If you require assistance, I will provide limited guidance within reason. Naruto tilted his head. Why only within reason? Red Tornado's eyes dimmed slightly. Because your position here is not yet secure. You are powerful, yes, but unvetted. The League must still evaluate you. Until then, I cannot fully commit to training you. Naruto nodded slowly, understanding. Fair enough. He glanced down at his palms, the chakra already humming just beneath the surface, itching to test everything he'd seen. Well, even if it's part-time help, I appreciate it. Seriously. Red Tornado nodded. Good. Then begin. As Naruto started channeling wind chakra, trying to mimic the tornado formation without turning himself into a mop, Red Tornado silently turned away and observed from a distance. For the first time in years, he wasn't just a glorified hall monitor. He was a teacher again. And this new student was definitely going to keep him on his turbines. The moon hung high above the island, casting silver light over the rugged cliffs and whispering trees. Waves lapped at the shore far below, but up here, on the lonely peak of the mountain, Naruto sat cross-legged, perfectly still, save for the occasional flicker of golden energy around him. If you squinted hard enough, you'd see what looked like a glowing sun god taking a breather after a long day of pretending to be a ninja. His new form shimmered in the darkness, golden chakra cloak swirling gently, the markings of the Sage of Six Paths glowing faintly along his skin, and in his eyes, still and wise, the unmistakable frog-like pattern of Sage Mode. He was in Bija's Sage Mode now. And finally it felt right. For the first time since arriving on this wild new world, Naruto felt like he had found balance, between his chakra, Kurama's power, and the overwhelming presence of natural energy flowing through the earth. He opened his eyes slowly, letting the sensations wash over him. Man, he muttered, this planet's just full of juice. He wasn't wrong. Compared to his old world, the earth was like a buffet of nature energy. Thick, potent, everywhere. He barely had to concentrate to enter Sage Mode here. His body practically soaked it in like a sponge at a hot spring. Kurama stirred lazily in his mind. Told you. This world's different. It breathes power. Naruto frowned thoughtfully. It's almost like nature energy changed the people here. Like, their genes evolved because of how much energy they were around. You're not wrong, Kurama replied, his tone more serious than usual. Maybe that's why beings like Kryptonians exist. Or Martians. Or that metal guy you trained with today. Naruto leaned back, resting on his palms as he stared at the stars. Still, it's weird. This planet likes me. Like more than my own ever did. That's just messed up. Kurama scoffed. That's not messed up. That's karma finally doing its damn job. Naruto smirked. TCH. About time. But as he settled deeper into meditation, a strange realization began to tickle his brain, like the world was humming around him, with him. The rocks beneath him, the air, the trees, the ocean, they didn't resist his chakra. They welcomed it. They accepted him. He blinked slowly. Am I Earth's favorite now? Please don't say that out loud, Kurama muttered. You sound like an arrogant squirrel. Naruto grinned. But a beloved squirrel. And then came the letdown. Naruto furrowed his brows as he began crunching numbers in his head. Chakra math wasn't exactly his strong suit, but he wasn't that dumb. Hey, Kurama, didn't you say your chakra was half a planet's worth? Kurama was quiet. Too quiet. Because I'm running the numbers now and this feels like, I dunno, maybe 30%? More silence. Kurama. The fox sighed. Loudly. Okay, fine. Maybe I forgot a minor detail. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Like what? You know how Minato sealed half my chakra into the Shinigami? That half. The part that's still stuck in literal death prison. Naruto facepalmed. You forgot about the Shinigami? I've had a long life, okay? You try keeping track of your organs when you're split in half by mystical death gods. Naruto groaned. So the grand I am half the planet's chakra speech was just bluffing? Kurama huffed. Hey, it still sounds cool. And technically, with Sage Mode, we are at 60% planetary power. So you're welcome. Naruto chuckled despite himself. Guess we're still OP. Damn right we are. He let out a slow breath, letting the energy settle in his limbs. He felt calm now. Ready. The trauma, the chaos, the overwhelming newness of this world, it was still there, but it didn't define him. He was Naruto Uzumaki. And he was just getting started. As the stars sparkled above and the ocean sang below, a breeze carried his words softly into the night. All right, Earth. If you like me this much, I'll protect you too. The wind seemed to answer. I love you. I must be hearing things. Naruto awoke with something very rare in the ninja world, a peaceful morning. The sun poured through the sleek glass windows of Mount Justice like golden syrup, pooling over the floor and warming his face as if even the sun was like, "You did great, kid. Sleep in." He stretched luxuriously, back popping, limbs limber, chakra pulsing through his body like a perfectly tuned engine. For the first time since arriving in this dimension of tech geniuses and caped weirdos, he didn't feel like a lost tourist. He felt strong. He felt rested. He felt not alone. Man, Naruto murmured, flopping back against the bed, having Kurama around full-time feels good. About time you noticed, Kurama grumbled in his head, sounding vaguely insulted. But Naruto just grinned. Because yeah, he had a partner now. A piece of home. And for the first time in forever, he didn't wake up with that hollow ache in his chest, the one that whispered you're alone every morning since he was a kid. He was not alone. Throwing on his orange and black gear, because fashion never dies, Naruto stepped out into the sleek metallic common area of Mount Justice, and immediately noticed something different. The team was assembled. And not just chilling. They were focused, alert, circled around Nightwing like students around a really good-looking substitute teacher. Nightwing looked up from his holographic mission screen. Morning, Naruto. Hope you slept well. Naruto gave a thumbs up so cheerful it could have jump-started a car. Like a log. I'm pumped for our sparring match today. Also, do you guys have ramen? Or do I have to summon it from the Shadow Realm? A few chuckles rippled through the room. Ramen can be arranged, Nightwing replied with a half-smile. Thank Immortal, Naruto exclaimed, and then, like the Chaos Goblin he was, launched himself forward and hugged Nightwing like he was reuniting with an old war buddy. Which would have been fine if Naruto hadn't forgotten he was now built like a golden demigod fueled by solar steroids and ancient fox chakra. Gah, Naruto, ribs. Ribs. Nightwing gasped, sounding like someone getting squeezed out of a toothpaste tube. Naruto instantly dropped him like a hot potato, hands up. Oops. Sorry, I swear I didn't mean to nearly crush you. That was my happy-to-have-breakfast hug. Nightwing took a moment to realign his internal organs before managing a straying chuckle. No worries. Just maybe stick to high fives for now. Once the room stopped laughing at the accidental near homicide, Nightwing shifted back to business mode. So, about that spar, you sure you want to fight me? You could go against Connor. He's the strongest physically. Or maybe test your speed against Kid Flash. Naruto shook his head, eyes sparkling with that familiar blend of optimism and mild insanity. Nah, I want to fight you. Different types of fights teach different things. And besides, back home, sparring with your friends is how we grew stronger. We tested each other, adapted, pushed ourselves to the next level. Gan looked surprised. You mean you fought your own team? All the time. Naruto grinned. Kakashi-sensei even made us fight bells. You'd think that sounds easy. It's not. Robin smirked. You sound pretty confident. You sure you're ready for what Nightwing can do? Naruto met his gaze with the kind of look that said I fought a giant fox once and walked away. Trust me. I'm ready. Nightwing chuckled. Alright then. Match starts at 12:30. Until then, kitchen's that way. Let's get you some ramen before you suplex someone else by accident. Naruto's grin grew impossibly wider. As Naruto and Nightwing strolled through the sleek corridors of Mount Justice, the conversation shifted, naturally, from food to fighting. A logical progression when one of you is a ninja and the other is an ex-Robin. Naruto gave the older hero a curious side-eye. So how do you usually fight? No offense or anything, but you're not exactly bursting with laser vision or muscles that punch planets. Nightwing smirked, unfazed. That's true. But I don't need powers to win a fight. Strategy, experience, technique, those go a long way. I've taken down people twice my size by thinking 5 steps ahead. Naruto's grin widened. Oh, that makes this even better. Let's see if your strategy can handle my unpredictability. I mean, my battle plan is basically wing it until something explodes. Nightwing raised an eyebrow, amused. That explains a lot. Hey, controlled chaos is still a strategy. Nightwing chuckled. Only if you live through it. They turned into the kitchen, which was more like a sleek sci-fi cafe than anything Naruto had ever seen. There were smoothie stations, high-tech ovens, and even a glowing touchscreen ramen generator. Okay, it was just a regular microwave, but Naruto was convinced it had the soul of a chef trapped inside. As they entered, a sudden flash of orange and green energy zipped past them. Starfire, glowing with her usual sunny radiance, zoomed into the room and immediately wrapped Nightwing in a warm hug. Greetings, beloved, she said cheerfully, giving him a quick kiss on the cheek. I sensed your energy signature and wanted to say hello before you begin the glorious combat of friendly intention. Naruto blinked. Combat of what now? Nightwing coughed. She means sparring. Oh. Yeah, that checks out. Then Starfire turned to Naruto and tilted her head. You have very curious energy. You remind me of Beast Boy and also myself. It is the chaotic brightness. It sings. Naruto's jaw dropped slightly. Wait, what? You are like if Beast Boy and I had a spark child, she added with a bright, genuine smile, as if she hadn't just made the wildest comparison Naruto had ever heard. Nightwing choked on absolutely nothing and gave her a look. Corey. What? He is bright and strange and exploding with joy and danger. It is a compliment. Naruto gave 2 thumbs up. Honestly, I'm not even mad. I've been called worse. Also, spark child? Kinda cool. They made their way to the counter where Naruto was finally handed a steaming bowl of heaven, ramen, blessed be. Naruto clasped his hands together reverently. Thank you for this gift, ramen lords. Do you always talk to your food? Nightwing asked as he leaned back with a protein shake. Naruto didn't break eye contact with the bowl. Only when I'm about to go to war. Starfire floated beside him, watching with wide, fascinated eyes as Naruto inhaled the noodles like a vacuum with ninja reflexes. I believe he is ascending, she whispered. Nightwing sipped his shake. He's definitely something. The sun was high in the sky, casting golden rays across the lush island that surrounded Mount Justice. The waves lapped against the shoreline in a gentle rhythm, almost mocking how peaceful the world was before Naruto Uzumaki decided to drop an explosive idea in front of a dozen superpowered teenagers. Naruto strolled beside Nightwing across the grassy clearing, hands behind his head, soaking in the breeze. His stomach was full of ramen, his chakra was buzzing, and his mood? Absolutely ready to be punched into the stratosphere by new friends. When they rounded the building and reached the wide-open training field that spilled into the beach, Naruto's blue eyes scanned the group ahead. A small crowd of heroes, some lounging, some sparring, some just enjoying the sun, turned their heads as the 2 newcomers approached. Nightwing raised a hand in greeting. Team, meet Naruto Uzumaki. He's not from around here. Understatement of the century, Naruto muttered under his breath. Standing, or floating, around were Beast Boy, who was mid-transition from a toucan into a teenager with mossy green skin, Superba, arms crossed like a living wall of brooding muscle, and Blue Beetle, his alien armor glinting in the sun. Beside them stood Robin, Tim Drake, sharp-eyed and silent, and Lagoon Boy, who was suspiciously eyeballing Naruto like a territorial sea creature. Static, meanwhile, gave a casual nod, sparks crackling from his fingertips. Chilling by the water were the girls he had met earlier, Wonder Girl, Batgirl, Bumblebee, Miss Martian, and Starfire, who waved cheerfully. Naruto returned the wave, grinning. Hey everyone. Great weather, huh? I hope you're not too tired because I'd like to fight all of you. A beat of silence. What? Robin asked flatly. Nightwing, arms folded now, replied casually, Naruto wants to spar the team. Beast Boy blinked. Like the whole team? Yep, Naruto confirmed with a bright thumbs up. All of you, all at once. Superba raised a brow. That's ambitious. Or suicidal, Blue Beetle muttered under his breath. Wonder Girl frowned. Are you sure you know what you're asking for? We don't exactly hold back when we train. Naruto chuckled, not even a hint of worry on his face. It's fine. I can make hundreds of clones. So even if all of you come at me at once, I've got the numbers advantage. Clones? Robin asked, still unconvinced. He means shadow clones, Nightwing supplied. Each one has solid mass, can think independently, and disperse when hit. Superboo crossed his arms tighter, frown deepening. Still sounds arrogant to me. Wonder Girl nodded. You're basically asking us to dogpile you. That's not sparring, that's a beatdown. Naruto laughed. Exactly. And I'm fine with that. I'm not some sore loser. You can all knock me around like a practice dummy if you want. I'll just get stronger from it. That got a few raised eyebrows. I'm used to it, he added with a grin. Back home, half my friends used to punch me during training. I was like their favorite punching bag with a smile. Beast Boy scratched his head. I mean if he's volunteering. Besides, Naruto said, what better way to learn each other's fighting styles than to experience them head-on? Win or lose, I'm not gonna cry about it. Nightwing didn't interrupt. He was watching closely, letting the situation unfold. Naruto reminded him of another brash, sunny-haired boy he'd once known, someone who ran headfirst into chaos, not because he thought he was invincible, but because he had something to prove. Miss Martian floated closer, her expression soft. You're really okay with this? Naruto nodded. If I collapse, someone can just drag me back inside and dump a bottle of water on my face. Easy. Lagoon Boy chuckled. You're insane. Just passionate, Naruto replied. Insane comes later. Naruto stood tall, kunai in hand and mischief in his eyes, like a kid who just challenged a chess club to dodgeball. Let's play a game, he said, flipping the broken kunai between his fingers. Simple rules. You guys pick a target, someone holds this batarang. I'll keep this kunai. If I steal yours before you steal mine, I win. If one of you gets this from me, well, feel free to rub it in. There was a beat of silence. That's either the most fun idea I've ever heard, Beast Boy said, or the most infuriating. Blue Beetle tilted his head. So like ninja hide-and-seek? Exactly, Naruto beamed. But with the added bonus of explosions. Nightwing crossed his arms thoughtfully. Alright, fair rules. But we're making this a challenge. You keep the kunai on your person, no clones hiding it in another dimension, or whatever your ninja magic allows. In return, we'll use this batarang. He held up a standard-issue black, wing-shaped gadget. And it stays on whoever we choose, no passing it around mid-game. Naruto grinned, already loving the setup. Deal. I'll signal the start with an explosion, Nightwing added. You'll know it when you hear it. With a final nod, Naruto vanished into the forest in a flicker of orange, wind whipping behind him. Somewhere between this is going to be fun and I hope I don't get vaporized, he darted between trees like a blur of sunlight. Back at the beach, the team gathered into a loose huddle. Superboy crossed his arms with the intensity of a guy who didn't understand board games and was pretty sure he hated them. You seriously think he can pull this off? Come on. He doesn't even know who has the batarang. Nightwing kept his tone neutral. That's the point. He's testing us as much as we're testing him. This isn't about winning, this is about figuring out where he fits on the team. Exactly, Batgirl said, and Connor, I'd really appreciate it if you didn't Hulk smash our guest until he tries something actually worth smashing. Lagoon Boy snorted. I say let him try. I'll bubble wrap the batarang before he gets anywhere near it. Wonder Girl gave him a dry look. Yeah, because you're the one we trust to protect the most important item. Tim, adjusted his gloves, completely ignoring the banter. So who's carrying the payload? Nightwing turned to Miss Martian. Gan. You're our best bet. Stay invisible, airborne if possible. Don't attack unless necessary. Let him come to you. Miss Martian nodded. Understood. The team huddled in a tight circle like the world's most athletic breakfast club. Years ago, this moment would have been chaos. Superboy charging in first, Beast Boy cracking jokes mid-battle, Lagoon Boy doing literally the opposite of what he was told. But now they waited. Because Nightwing was the boss. And even if he looked like the cool older brother who always knew where the pizza was, everyone on that beach had learned not to underestimate him. Especially Lagoon Boy, who once ended up inside a frozen bubble trap for 3 hours because he didn't follow orders. So when Nightwing asked, "How do we kick ass?" they listened. He glanced at the holographic scanner in his hand, fingers dancing across the controls. "He's gone." A silence fell over the group. "What do you mean gone?" Robin asked, leaning in. "I mean," Nightwing said, tapping the screen, "no trace. He vanished right off the radar. Stealth level, spooky." Megan, Miss Martian, closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. A moment passed, and her eyes snapped open. "He's near the far cliffs. Just above the ocean. His mind is sharp. Focused. Excited." "So he's waiting for us," Superboy said, cracking his knuckles. Nightwing smirked. "Then let's not disappoint him." He pointed at Superboy. "You and Starfire approach directly, test his reaction time. Force him into the open." Starfire's eyes lit up, literally. "It will be a glorious battle." "Bumblebee," Nightwing continued, turning to the tech-savvy hero, "hover behind them. Use your vibration wings. If he tries to throw anything, shred it in the air." Bumblebee gave a firm nod. "Roger that. No ninja tricks getting past me." "Lagoon Boy," Nightwing said, pausing for just the tiniest second, possibly for dramatic effect or caution, "head into the water. Give us control of the ocean. Try to trap him with water pressure if he gets too close to the cliffside." Lagoon Boy cracked his knuckles. "Finally. Something I'm good at." "Beast Boy," Nightwing added, turning to the green shapeshifter, "go alien." Beast Boy grinned. "Thought you'd never ask." A bright flash of green light lit up the beach, and a moment later, Beast Boy stood there as a hulking, four-armed alien with dark armor-like skin, glowing yellow lines, and gravity-controlling fists. Galilean mode activated. Everyone took a step back as the sand beneath him started to compress under his influence. "He's gonna regret inviting us to this party," Beast Boy rumbled. Nightwing gave a final nod. "Everyone else, hang back. We'll observe and adapt. Remember, this isn't a fight, it's a test. Let's show our guests just how serious we take our games." Naruto floated silently beneath the crystal waters surrounding the island, the ocean wrapping around him like a velvet curtain. In the silence of the deep, his golden chakra flickered and danced like sunlight refracted through glass. He sat in full Bija Sage mode, suspended in meditation, his body glowing, his mind anchored deep within himself. His cloak of golden chakra rippled outward, disturbing no water, yet marking his domain like a silent current of power. Nature energy poured into him from every direction. Earth's rich, vibrant energy was far denser than what he'd ever experienced in his own world. It buzzed with life, tension, emotion. His enhanced senses could hear the gentle rhythm of fish swimming nearby. He could feel the vibrations of Beast Boy's shifting forms on the surface. He could even taste the faint scent of ozone carried by Bumblebee's electric field high in the sky. But for now, none of that mattered. He was inside. Within the familiar space of his subconscious, the great stone pipes and shallow water echoed with a deep, ambient hum. The massive seal had long since faded. Now, the area felt less like a cage and more like a sacred temple, the temple of the nine-tailed fox. Kurama lay comfortably in a curled heap, the ambient glow of Naruto's chakra giving his fur a warm, fiery shimmer. His ears twitched lazily, and his eyes, vast pools of ancient intelligence, cracked open with mild curiosity. "This," Kurama said with a yawn, "is the first time we've been able to cut loose with no war hanging over our heads. No Akatsuki. Just a bunch of overpowered kids in tights." Naruto chuckled, still seated in lotus pose within the seal space. His voice echoed calmly through the chamber. "Yeah, and for once, we don't have to hold back to protect anyone. It's just us. A perfect field test." Kurama's grin widened slightly. "Let's play with them." Naruto smirked. "Careful. That sounds like something the old you would say." Kurama snorted. "Maybe. But you and I both know this world has its own monsters. And they won't all be this friendly. We need to know how far we've come." Naruto's face turned serious, the playful light in his eyes replaced with resolve. "I'm eager to see how strong they really are. Superboy's chakra, or whatever that energy is, feels heavy. He's stronger than me physically, probably even without trying. But he's not the sharpest blade in the armory. Starfire's worse, Kurama added, stretching his limbs. She's a living sun with arms. One hit from her at full power could shatter bones. Be careful. Wonder Girl's strong too, but I think the others will be easier to handle. Blue Beetle has some sort of armor AI. Beast Boy's unpredictable but not dangerous unless he pulls something crazy. The rest? I can end most of them with a single hit, assuming I don't get tech blasted in the face first. Kurama narrowed his gaze. Don't get cocky. The tech here is unlike anything back home. If you see a toaster flying toward you, don't assume it's just for bread. It might shoot lasers. Naruto snorted. Yeah, noted. No trust in kitchen appliances. Kurama's tone softened slightly. Just fight the way you always do. Use your unpredictability. Use your clones. I'll keep an eye on the field. If anything happens outside your range, I'll react with the chakra limbs before it hits you. Naruto glanced up. Thanks, Kurama. Kurama huffed, clearly pleased. TCH, don't get sappy on me now. But yeah, I got your back, Naruto. Always. A silence settled between them, filled with the hum of energy and mutual respect. Naruto slowly opened his eyes back in the real world, still underwater, his pupils glowing like twin comets. Let's see what Earth's finest can really do. And far above, on the island, a faint boom shattered the calm, the signal. The game had begun, but Naruto? He was already moving. 10 clones, 10 fights, 1 foxy game, in which Naruto goes full ninja army, Lagoon Boy regrets taunting the sea, and everyone learns never to give the blonde a reason to show off. The air above the island had been calm until Naruto decided otherwise. A shriek of wind split the sky as the air pressure shifted unnaturally. Leaves spiraled upward, the sea churned, and clouds twisted into a vortex of roaring energy. A massive tornado exploded into existence, spiraling between Starfire and Superboy like nature itself had hit the panic button. Whoa! Superboy grunted, flinching instinctively against the gale force winds whipping around him. Before he could regain balance, a golden blur blasted through the tornado like it was made of cotton candy. Naruto. Riding the wind like a living missile, chakra arms glowing and trailing behind him like divine banners, he slammed full force into Superboy, Rasengan first. Found you! Naruto shouted gleefully, chakra limbs snapping forward as he grabbed both of Superboy's arms mid-air, pinning him. The Rasengan, bright, buzzing, and bloated with nature energy, detonated against Superboy's chest. It didn't explode violently, but rather expanded, enveloping him in a swirling cocoon of force that sent the half-Kryptonian hurling backward like a very angry cannonball. He smashed through a cluster of palm trees before disappearing in a shower of debris. I always wanted to try that in flight, Naruto muttered with a grin. Meanwhile, Starfire, blazing with emerald light, had already shifted her attention to the clone Naruto that had zipped toward her. You think trickery can win you this battle? She said, firing twin bolts of star energy. The clone held up a hand and compressed the air between them in an instant. The bolts dispersed midair like someone had smacked them with a paddle of pressure. Then, snap, 2 glowing chakra arms shot out, each wielding a Rasengan aimed right at Starfire's flanks. With reflexes born of combat against literal immortals, Starfire screamed forward, unleashing concentrated beams of energy from her eyes and hands in a defensive cross burst. The air ignited between them in a burst of light, chakra clashing against alien energy in midair. The clone held firm for a second, then poofed in a puff of smoke and golden sparks. Starfire hovered, breathing heavily, scanning for the next incoming threat. Back on the other side of the battlefield, Naruto barely had time to adjust his flight path before gravity itself betrayed him. Gotcha! Beast Boy shouted, except his voice was weirdly low-pitched and echoey. Naruto's feet suddenly dragged downward like someone had tied sandbags to his soul. The pressure on his body doubled, tripled. Even his chakra cloak wavered for a second. Beast Boy, in his chosen Galilean form, complete with glowing eyes, anti-gravity pulses, and 6 weird antennae, soared overhead like a smug alien stingray. Gravity control, huh? Naruto muttered, dropping to one knee midair as he tried to adjust. Then it got worse. A searing red beam of heat scorched toward him, Superboy's heat vision, cutting through the sky like a laser pointer from hell. Naruto's eyes widened, but his hands were already forming seals. Substitution Jutsu. Boom! Superboy blinked as the beam struck something, but instead of Naruto, it was Starfire? Wait, what the? She shouted, spinning midair to break. Naruto reappeared above, grinning upside down as he hung suspended in midair thanks to his wind chakra. Sorry, Star. But I really needed a fire shield. Kurama snorted in his mind. That was dirty. I'm proud. Naruto laughed. Don't worry, I'll buy her a fruit smoothie after this. From the sky to the sea, chaos broke loose. Wind howled, sand kicked up into miniature cyclones, and chakra surged like a tidal wave as Naruto, hovering midair with golden energy blazing from his skin, clasped his hands together with a grin that said, Now I'm done holding back. Kaiga Bunshin no Jutsu. With a thunderclap of chakra and a flash of golden light, poof! 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 10 Narutos exploded into existence. Each was cloaked in a swirling mix of Kurama's chakra and nature energy, their hair fluttering, their eyes sharp. Each clone turned to a specific opponent. One for you, Naruto muttered, pointing to Nightwing. One for you, he said, turning to Superboy. And one for each of your lovely faces, he added, spinning dramatically and pointing toward Batgirl, Bumblebee, Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, Wonder Girl, Lagoon Boy and Gan, and Tim Drake like a reality TV host giving away door prizes. Then came the wind. Naruto raised both arms as the very air seemed to tremble, and dozens of mini tornadoes burst into life. They scattered the sand, kicked up seawater, and sent the team into a scrambling frenzy. Let's play. Naruto's clone dove into the shimmering water like a golden dart, and the ocean welcomed him with a cool silence. But before he could swim forward, crushing water pressure suddenly slammed down on him like an invisible cage. You're in my domain now, came Lagoon Boy's voice through the current, confident and smug. His figure shimmered through the waves, his arms outstretched as the water around him twisted like living serpents. The clone grimaced slightly but remained calm, his golden glow rippling. I could end this, but I won't. Not yet, he thought. I'm here to learn. And to learn, I've got to be patient. Lagoon Boy wasn't joking about control. He fired high-pressure water bullets like torpedoes, each one sharp enough to punch through rock. Naruto dodged them with smooth underwater spins, enhanced by the calm clarity Sage Mode provided. But then came the surprise. Naruto raised his hand, and with a subtle twist of his fingers, the water around Lagoon Boy shivered, and then pressed inward. The Atlantean's eyes went wide. You! Naruto's voice echoed softly through the water. Yeah. Turns out Sage Mode boosts elemental control a lot. And this planet, it's just full of energy. Feels like I've tapped into the sea itself. Lagoon Boy snarled and puffed up, his muscles bulging, his frame doubling in size as he activated his mutation. Then come at me like a real man. The chakra around Naruto's clone shimmered, and with a sly smile, he snapped his fingers. Water sharks materialized out of the swirling ocean around them, snapping toward Lagoon Boy like summoned beasts from the deep. The Atlantean roared, pushing back with focused jets of water and precise bends, expertly breaking apart the constructs. But the control Naruto had shocked him. Each shark didn't just exist, it moved with intention, as if the water itself was listening to Naruto's will. This is impossible, he's a land dweller. Inside Naruto's mind. Kurama snorted from his spot in the seal. Inspired by the Akatsuki, huh? Naruto, watching through the clone's senses, smirked. Yeah. Kisame always made water techniques look cool. I figured it was time to upgrade my style. You think he'd be proud? Kurama chuckled. Proud? He'd probably challenge you to a shark summoning contest. Lagoon Boy shot through the water like a torpedo made of pure ego. His green fins sliced through the ocean currents, as he aimed straight for the glowing golden figure floating beneath the surface like some kind of sea deity on vacation. Let's see what you got, land ninja! He shouted, fists raised, water coiling around his limbs like living armor. Naruto's clone waited calmly, his Bijou Sage Mode casting warm light through the surrounding sea. His long chakra tails drifted behind him like tendrils of sunlight, his eyes sharp and glinting with fox-like curiosity. Oh, I've got plenty, he replied, and then, boom. The water exploded between them as they collided. What followed could only be described as an underwater ballet with an action movie budget. Lagoon Boy fired water bullets, dozens of them, each one sharp enough to punch a hole through coral. Naruto weaved between them with a lazy grace, letting the current twist him into fluid dodges. Then came Water Prison Jutsu. Lagoon Boy formed a spiraling dome around Naruto with practiced ease, until Naruto simply smiled, raised his hand, and the prison burst into harmless droplets around him. Nice try, Naruto called, spinning a stream of water into a pressure spear and hurling it like a harpoon. Lagoon Boy barely ducked, using the tail of his own current to redirect it. Slash after slash, bullet after bullet, the two clashed with water-bending fury. Lagoon Boy's strength, amplified by the sea, made him fast, stronger than Naruto expected. In fact, if Naruto had faced him without Sage Mode, he might have actually bruised me, Naruto muttered to himself, flicking away another spiral of water slashes with a casual chakra tail. As the fight wore on, it became painfully obvious, Naruto wasn't breaking a sweat, or gill, or chakra bead. Lagoon Boy, on the other hand, had a busted lip, a cracked rib, and was now moving with that classic "this is fine" grin that screamed "I am losing gracefully while my pride weeps." Finally, breathing heavily, Lagoon Boy threw up his hands, figuratively, because his actual hands were busy blocking another mini water shark. Okay, he gasped. Just hit me already. Give me your strongest shot and end this, man. Naruto tilted his head, surprised by the sudden surrender. You sure? I was having fun. Yeah, well, I'm not, Lagoon Boy muttered. You're like, water itself hates me now. Naruto chuckled and gave a respectful nod. You were awesome. Seriously. You almost made me use two tails. Wait, what? Pop. Naruto vanished from sight. Lagoon Boy's eyes darted around. Where'd he go? Whoosh. Naruto reappeared at his flank, chakra glowing brightly around his hand as a massive Rasengan spun to life. Thanks for the spar, Naruto said kindly. Wham. The Rasengan didn't explode. It didn't rip the ocean apart. Instead, it became a controlled spiral of force, compact and precise, slamming Lagoon Boy downward and pinning him gently to the sea floor like a surprisingly considerate wrecking ball. The Atlantean's eyes fluttered, and then darkness. Naruto sighed and caught him before he hit the seabed too hard. Kurama, he muttered, you were right. I am getting better at control. About time, the fox muttered lazily from inside. A few moments later, a soft poof announced the clone's exit from underwater combat. Naruto emerged from the surf with Lagoon Boy slung over his shoulder like a seaweed-covered gym bag. He laid him gently on the sand, then looked toward the others, some mid-battle, others watching in disbelief. One down, Naruto said cheerfully, brushing kelp from his jacket. Nightwing had been in a lot of chaotic battles before, alien invasions, time-traveling assassins, even that one time Wally West turned into pure electricity. But this was something else. From his perch atop a tree trunk, he watched as clones, so many clones, erupted from golden energy and smoke, each bearing the same cocky smirk and flowing chakra limbs that made them look like fox-themed green lanterns with no off switch. Oh great, he muttered, ducking as a mini tornado spun uncomfortably close to his head, whipping leaves and a purr squirrel into an involuntary air ballet. He's a golden lantern ninja now. That's fun. He tapped his comm-gan. We need illusion cover, give em something confusing. Keep em guessing. From somewhere above, Miss Martian's voice answered, already on it. In the blink of an eye, the battlefield shimmered with clones of the clones, dozens of them, Naruto's dancing around each other, laughing, sparring, exploding. Some rode giant frogs. One seemed to be holding a bowl of ramen while fighting. It was peak chaos. But it didn't last. Naruto's voice echoed from multiple directions at once, calm but playful, nice try. But I can sense life force and nature's telling me exactly where you all are. The illusions shimmered, and were instantly dismissed like bad fan theories on the internet. Nightwing cursed under his breath. Figures. Alright, new plan, Nightwing barked as he flipped back to the others. Everyone, close ranks. Do not split up. Naruto's goal is to isolate us. We're not playing that game. With practiced efficiency, he flung out metallic discs, each clinking into the ground and pulsing with blue light. A shimmering energy barrier sprung up in a wide perimeter, surrounding him, Miss Martian, Static, Robin, and Batgirl. That'll buy us time, he muttered. Plan B, stay together. Beast Boy, increase gravity, force those clones down. Beast Boy in his hulking Galilean form, the air around him shimmering as he manipulated gravity with a low growl. Crushing field incoming. A gravitational pulse slammed into the clones, distorting the battlefield like a collapsing star. Blue Beetle, go! Nightwing shouted. Jamie's armor hissed to life, anti-gravity boosters flaring. On it! He yelled, zipping through the gravity field with ease, cannons blazing. Behind them, Bumblebee hovered at range, firing sonic blasts like a wasp on steroids. Static followed up with crackling lightning arcs, lighting the sky like an angry thunder god. Wonder Girl took the lead, the silent armor wrapping her in an invisible cocoon of divine force. With a gleaming diamond-forged sword in hand, she slashed through the air, guarding the others while the barrier discs from Nightwing held firm. For a second, it looked like it was working. The gravity held. The attacks were relentless. The field was secure. Then came the substitution. Poof. Leaves fluttered. Leaves? Seriously? Robin muttered, scanning the battlefield. Nightwing's eyes widened. No! Too late. The real clones had already swapped out with Wonder Girl herself and her team's cover. Like a fox in a henhouse, Naruto's clones emerged from the ground, chakra arms erupting in a golden explosion that cracked the earth and grabbed at the team's legs like glowing vines. Look out! Batgirl shouted, dodging by flipping over a spiraling tendril. Wonder Girl reacted instinctively, her sword flashing as she cut through one of the arms trying to snare Nightwing, but she didn't see the Naruto clone behind her. Thanks for the save, the clone said cheekily, and slam. A full-powered Rasengan drove into her back, controlled enough not to kill, but forceful enough to hurl her like a rocket into the air. Wonder Girl was tough. Her armor absorbed most of the impact. But she was out of the formation now. She's down! Robin called, scanning the trees. One of the clones dragged her away. We're losing people, Nightwing growled. This kid, he's doing exactly what I do. Flank, divide, isolate, and incapacitate. Naruto was starting to think he might have overdone it. He hovered in the air like a chakra-wrapped demigod, watching his Rasengan-slinging army cause panic, flash-step confusion, and the occasional light property damage. He wasn't trying to win exactly, it was more like he was letting off some steam. That is, until Nightwing called him out mid-chaos. Naruto! Nightwing's voice cut through the wind like a shuriken made of calm logic and authority. Can we talk for a second? Preferably without a Rasengan in my face? Naruto blinked and waved 4 of his clones over, the ones hovering near Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Miss Martian. The golden chakra flickered slightly as they landed. Nightwing crossed his arms and gave Naruto the classic Nightwing look, calm, cool, with just a dash of I will outthink you, Sunshine Boy. Look, I get it. You're strong. Like, freaky dimension level strong. But we're not Kryptonians. I'm human. Robin's human. Batgirl's human. And while we've got training, gadgets, and a ridiculous tolerance for pain, we're not built for a Rasengan hug. Batgirl gave a thumbs up behind him. Robin just frowned like someone had insulted his cape's stitching. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, sheepish. All right. Sorry. I guess I got carried away. Understandable, Nightwing said, smiling a little. It happens when you drop tornadoes on your new coworkers. Robin muttered, multiple tornadoes. Nightwing continued, how about this? Power down. Drop to, let's say, bare minimum superhuman. Enough to give us a challenge, but not enough to crater the island. Naruto grinned. Deal. Let's see what you bat people can really do. Meanwhile in Clone Town. While Naruto and the 4 conversation clones were distracted hashing out power limits, something subtle stirred in the mental waves. Megan, Miss Martian, was focused. Psychic energy swirled around her like mist, invisible to all except those attuned to minds. She reached for one of the clones. Not the loud one. Not the one laughing at Batgirl's gadgets. The quiet one. The one deep in thought, considering Nightwing's suggestion with furrowed brows and a philosophical sigh. She slipped in. No resistance. Just like that, she was inside. Her green eyes widened. His clone mind is completely separate from Kurama, which means no fox to stop me. Gotcha, she whispered, and made the clone turn. Robin, ever alert, noticed the twitch in movement. Is that one looking weird to anyone else? Before anyone could respond, the possessed clone flared to life and lunged forward with shocking speed, not toward Nightwing or Bako, but toward the other Naruto clones. Hey, I wasn't done talking. The other 3 clones instantly sensed the surge of unfamiliar intent. The air crackled. One clone yelled, "Wait, he's compromised." In a synchronized blast of golden energy, the 3 unaffected clones flew skyward, leaving a glowing crater behind as they rocketed out of range. The possessed clone blinked, then looked surprised. "Ah, come on," Megan muttered through it. Naruto, from his ocean view perch, blinked in confusion. Then realization hit him like a Sage Mode chakra brick. "Wait, she can hack my clones?" Kurama's voice echoed in his head with a low growl of disbelief. "Of course she can. No fox in them, remember? They're basically walking windbags with flashy hair and no mental defense." "I thought I made them smarter this time." "You made them shinier. There's a difference." Naruto groaned. "Ugh, this world has psychics that can remote control me?" Robin, now fully intrigued, stepped beside Miss Martian. "Can I try something?" Megan, still linked to the clone, handed him the reins. And just like that, Tim Drake was in control of a Naruto clone. He grinned. "So this is what it feels like to have chakra." The clone's arms glowed, chakra limbs extending slightly like golden tendrils of energy. He aimed one at a tree and flicked. Boom. Sweet. Back on the field. The remaining Naruto clones regrouped above the trees, keeping their distance now. One of them whispered, "Okay, new rule. If anyone acts even slightly weird, assume it's mind hacked." Another nodded. Noted. No blinking weirdly, no sudden poetic thoughts. Naruto facepalmed from afar. This was supposed to be a fun spar, now I'm getting cloned, hacked, and played like a chakra-powered puppet. Robin wasn't usually the kind of guy to gloat. He left that to certain other Robins. But as he stood on the battlefield in a borrowed Naruto clone body, golden chakra rippling off his arms like solar flames, he couldn't help but whisper to himself, "This is awesome." From across the field, the real Naruto watched the golden-cloaked version of himself spin twin chakra machine guns into existence, and mowed down a tree just to test their kickback. A bit excessive? Sure. But undeniably stylish. That clone's chakra is being pushed to its limit, and Robin's controlling it like a pro, Naruto thought, eyes glinting with excitement. Let's see what he can really do. With a crackle of energy, Naruto launched himself at the possessed clone. The clash came fast. Robin spun a chakra staff into existence just in time to deflect a Rasengan uppercut, the golden sphere fizzing with compressed energy inches from his borrowed face. He retaliated with a wide sweep, his new chakra limbs helping him maintain balance as he whipped around and slammed the staff down. Naruto dodged, bending backwards with a flexibility that would have made acrobats cry, and responded with a low leg sweep. Robin jumped, twisting midair, and rained down glowing kunai made of solidified chakra light. Naruto blocked with a golden barrier that shimmered like stained glass before shattering it with a roar and countering. Bam! Chakra fists clashed midair. The resulting shockwave blasted dust and leaves in every direction, rippling out in concentric circles across the training field. Robin's eyes lit up. "You really fight like a storm." Naruto grinned. "And you fight like a tactician with a chakra cannon. You sure you're not secretly a lantern?" Robin replied with dual-eye lasers that scorched a path straight toward Naruto, who vanished with a pop and reappeared behind him with a chakra-laced roundhouse. Robin caught the kick, barely, and twisted Naruto's leg with a judo technique, slamming him to the ground. "Okay, not bad." Naruto laughed, flipping back up and returning with a flurry of blows, Muay Thai knees, Taekwondo spin kicks, and grappling grabs that turned their spar into a rolling, glowing brawl straight out of an anime fighting tournament. Robin, for his part, kept pace, countering with sleek staff work, precise Aikido redirections, and pressure point jabs Naruto barely dodged thanks to Sage Mode's enhanced perception. They weren't just fighting, they were dancing in battle. And the choreography was made of chakra and sheer willpower. Robin clapped his hands together, and Naruto's clone body responded with mouth lasers. "Why is this a thing?" Robin laughed even as Naruto backflipped through the beam, his own hands forming a Rasengan that crackled like thunder. Robin met the Rasengan with an energy barrier shield and absorbed part of the blast, only to have Naruto shoulder check him mid-defense, knocking him into a tree. Okay, Robin groaned, picking himself up. Definitely not meant for close-range bull rush. Naruto raised a hand, and vines of golden chakra erupted from the ground, wrapping around Robin's clone body limbs. Had enough? Naruto grinned. Robin grinned right back. Not even close. A chakra shockwave exploded from the clone, blowing the restraints apart. Robin darted forward, his staff splitting into twin batons of hard light energy, and met Naruto once more in a dazzling display of strikes, dodges, and counter-strikes, all lit in gold. Robin had barely recovered from the chakra clone's explosion when a breeze blew through the field, cool, calm, and deceptive. Because Naruto was no longer laughing. He cracked his knuckles and stretched his neck with a loud pop-pop, his expression still friendly but now edged with anticipation. All right, Naruto said, his grin sharper than usual. You've seen my energy stuff. My elements. My Rasengan. But now he stepped forward. Another Naruto stepped out from behind him like a shadow peeling away. You're gonna see Clone Fu. Robin blinked. That's not a real thing. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Is now. Robin readied his staff as Naruto vanished, blurring forward with sage-enhanced speed. The real strike came low, a sweep kick to Robin's ankles, but before Robin could dodge, a second Naruto appeared midair like he teleported above and delivered a flying axe kick aimed at Robin's head. Wham! Robin barely blocked the high strike with his staff, but the clone popped on contact, releasing a chakra shock that threw off his balance. Naruto was already back in motion. He darted left, faked a punch, and two clones erupted out of the ground like trapdoor ninjas, one delivering a spinning elbow to Robin's ribs, the other landing a leaping side kick from behind. Poof, poof! Both clones vanished on impact. You're fighting like a hive mind. Robin coughed, staggering back. Nope, Naruto said brightly. More like a ninja flash mob. From the sidelines, Nightwing, perched atop a tree branch, narrowed his eyes. That's dangerous. Every clone has just enough substance to land a hit before popping. It's like he's spawning traps mid-combat. He's making the battlefield himself, Batko muttered, impressed despite herself. Each hit sets up the next one. Back to the beatdown. Robin tried everything. Sweeps, blocks, counter-grabs. But every time he thought he'd gotten the real Naruto, the real one attacked from the opposite direction. One Naruto punched. Another Naruto appeared mid-strike, turned the punch into a grapple, and threw Robin into a third Naruto, who flipped him again. It was like fighting a dojo full of prankster monks who could teleport. Even when Robin tried to retreat, Naruto appeared mid-leap behind him, launching a spinning back fist. Clone. Another Naruto caught Robin in midair with a Muay Thai knee to the ribs. Clone. Then a chakra limb whipped out from behind a tree and pinned Robin mid-roll, so another clone could uppercut him like a launch pad. Clone. Robin hit the ground, coughing but grinning. Okay. Clone Fu is real. I admit it. Static. On the far side of the battlefield, where sand met forest and storm clouds brewed overhead, the air buzzed with static, literally. Static, the electric dynamo himself, zipped through the air as a living bolt of lightning. Sparks danced around him like excited fireflies. His eyes glowed with power, and his voice crackled through the comms. I've turned into lightning. I repeat, lightning. Let's see him touch me now. Across the field, Naruto's clone tilted his head. So your energy now? He scratched his chin thoughtfully. That's cool. Then, the clone smiled a slow, fox-like grin. That meant danger. Static struck first, literally. A bolt of lightning tore through the field and hit Naruto's clone's center mass. The ground exploded into scorched earth and dust. For a second, it looked like he'd landed a solid hit. Until the smoke cleared and Naruto's clone stepped forward. Smirking. Untouched. What the? Static blinked from the treetops, electricity flickering around him. The Naruto clone reached toward his stomach, where the lightning had passed through, and then calmly reshaped his midsection, like molding clay. Guess what? Naruto called out. You're lightning, but I'm chakra. And chakra can phase too. He cracked his knuckles. So let's play. Static zoomed down again, arcing between trees like a living flash. He fired bolts of lightning, shock spheres, crackling bursts of ion energy. And the Naruto clone let them pass through him. Like smoke through air. Try hitting me without phasing through me, Naruto teased, his clone body flickering with golden energy. I dare you. Frustrated but still grinning, Static kicked it up a notch. He gathered electricity into a massive energy disk and hurled it forward like Zeus on caffeine. Naruto didn't even flinch. He raised his hand and bent the wind itself. The disk shattered against an invisible barrier of compressed air. Control the wind, Naruto said, his voice calm, and you control the battlefield. Static was starting to feel it, slower reactions, heavier limbs. The lightning form was fast but drained energy quickly, and now he noticed something weird. The air around him was thin. Too thin. He gasped, just a little, but it was enough for the Naruto clone to smile. Did you forget? Naruto said softly. Lightning burns oxygen fast. And I control the wind. He clapped his hands together, and the wind vanished from the air around them. A perfect vacuum formed within a tight bubble. Static tried to shout, to retreat, to breathe, but it was like trying to inhale smoke underwater. His body flickered back into solid form, instincts kicking in. But by then, the damage was done. With no air, and his energy nearly depleted, Static collapsed mid-strike, his body falling into the Naruto clone's arms. Too strong to hit directly, Naruto murmured, gently lowering him to the ground, but too reliant on your element. He placed Static carefully on a soft bed of moss and gave him a quick thumbs up. Respect the hustle, though. That lightning form was sick. Meanwhile, from the main field, Nightwing's HUD pinged. Static's down, Miss Martian reported with a frown. Knocked out? Looks like he's breathing but barely. Naruto didn't injure him, just outplayed him. Nightwing nodded grimly. One clone. One down. We need to end this before he clears the entire team. Nightwing. If there was one thing Nightwing prided himself on, it was planning. Strategy. Contingency. The man had faced assassins, aliens, gods, and Batman's judgment. He'd seen it all. Or so he thought. Static's clone is vulnerable. Take it, he said, his voice calm over the comms. Gan nodded, eyes glowing white as her consciousness slithered into the distracted Naruto clone still standing beside the unconscious Static. The clone, still caught up thinking, what if I use pure energy to phase into my own rays? Gan barely flinched as Gan slipped in. Got him, she confirmed, a grin on her face. Transferring control to you. Nightwing's HUD pinged. Control interface locked in. He felt the clone's power at his fingertips. A warm, golden rush of energy ready to shape into anything. For one brief, shining moment. He was a ninja. Okay, he muttered. Let's see what I can do. Crash. The golden clone's chest exploded inward before he could even move. What the hell? 3 more clones, no, 4 burst from the foliage like golden specters of vengeance. One with the calm menace of the Lagoon Boy Slayer. One with the lightning dancer poise of the Robin Battler. And 2 who looked like they'd just given Batgirl and Gan a very rude awakening. They attacked simultaneously. Nightwing barely had a second to register the danger. The clone body flickered under his control as chakra arms slammed into it, slicing with edge-sharp wind pressure and razor-light chakra. He threw up an energy shield with the unfamiliar body. It shattered instantly. Trap, was all he could yell before. Boom. A massive explosion of golden chakra lit up the coastline as the clone Nightwing possessed was utterly dismantled. Bits of golden light scattered into the sky like confetti at a very violent parade. Gan shot back into her real body, gasping. They baited me, she said, breathless. They baited me. That clone was waiting. Then she felt it, several chakra limbs coming from the soil itself. Nope. She yelped and phased straight down into the ground, intangible and invisible. Batgirl, standing alone in the clearing now, looked around with her eskrima sticks drawn and a lot of questions. Okay, she muttered, backing up. Let's not be hasty. The 4 Naruto clones turned toward her in eerie, perfect unison, glowing eyes fixed, chakra spiraling from their arms. Batgirl held up her hands. You wouldn't hit a defenseless girl, would you? There was a pause. One of the clones cocked its head. Then another said in a flat tone, "The hammer of justice is unisex." Batgirl groaned. Right. Of course it is. She flipped backward, hurling smoke pellets as she sprinted toward the tree line. Behind her, the ground erupted as the clones gave chase. Batgirl. Batgirl vaulted over a fallen tree with the grace of a professional gymnast and the drama of a Broadway lead. Her crimson cape flared behind her as she landed, rolled, and launched a smoke pellet in the same motion. Behind her? 4 Naruto clones, glowing golden, grinning way too much, and having the time of their chakra-infused lives. She's fast, one clone said, flickering through the smoke. She's fun, said another, flipping into a sprint. She smells like lavender shampoo and bad decisions, the third added. The fourth? Guys, she's literally throwing caltrips. My feet aren't even real and I felt that. Batgirl's voice called from somewhere in the trees, sweet and smug. Come on, Naruto number 72 or whatever, you gonna chase me all day, or do something useful? Hey, I'm Clone 59, one of them shouted indignantly. Another added, that's offensive. We have feelings. Well, Batgirl quipped as she hurled a flashbang backward, you're about to have a bright one. Boom! A blast of light seared through the forest. The clones reeled back with theatrical flails, because, really, the flashbang didn't affect them much. They were just having fun. Is this how you flirt in Gotham? Asked one clone, materializing in front of her with a playful lean. Batgirl smirked and flipped over him, landing behind and tossing 3 tiny explosive discs onto the ground. Only with boys made of chakra and questionable impulse control. Another clone tried to catch her in a spinning sweep kick, but Batgirl somersaulted over him and blasted him in the face with pepper spray. He clutched his eyes and dramatically staggered. I can't feel my eyes. Wait, I don't have eyes, what did you spray? Regret, Batgirl said, sticking her tongue out. The chase continued, now weaving through the craggy cliffs on the island's east side. Batgirl ducked behind a boulder, placed a beacon grenade on a tree trunk, and waited. When the first clone dashed by, she leapt out, grabbed him by the collar, and pulled him into what could only be described as a trap hug. Hey there, handsome. The clone blinked. She tapped something on his shoulder, beep, and kicked off his chest with both legs, backflipping away. The beacon exploded in a contained, concentrated burst of light and force, more designed to disorient than destroy. But the clone stumbled, flickered, and almost popped. Almost. Too bad, he said, brushing smoke off his cloak. That was close. Batgirl narrowed her eyes. You're tougher than I thought. Or maybe I'm rusty. Nah, said a second clone from a tree branch. You're just outnumbered. Oh please, she shot back, tossing a bullet toward his legs. I'm Batgirl. I've fought worse odds in high heels. Respect, muttered a clone as he dodged it midair. They closed in again, forming a loose square around her. Batgirl dropped smoke bombs, launched a taser, spun into a low kick, but they matched her step for step. They weren't pressing in. They weren't overwhelming her. They were playing. And she knew it. Batgirl sighed dramatically. So are we sparring or just flirting? Because if it's both, I want at least a milkshake after. The clones glanced at each other. One scratched his head. Do we even eat? Another shrugged. I mean, technically I remember what ramen tastes like, so. Batgirl rolled her eyes, then smiled. Tell the real Naruto, if he wants to impress a girl, he needs to stop sending clones and come himself. Bumblebee. Bumblebee zipped through